Here's Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective.
Hello there, this is Diamond. Well, it's Christmas Eve. And every year about this time, my business takes a big nosedive. People usually pack up their troubles and start unpacking colored lights and Christmas tree ornaments. So tonight, instead of telling you about one of my hair-raising exploits, we're going to tell you a Christmas story. So with apologies to Mr. Charles Dickens, we'd like to bring you an adaptation of one of his most famous stories, A Christmas Carol. Now, I'd better explain something first. This version isn't exactly the way you've heard it many times before. Because of the particular type of characters I usually get mixed up with, this story is written to fit their talents and characteristics. Different from the Dickens original, certainly, but we feel that this story could easily happen today, anywhere. Like maybe right here in New York on a little side street just off the Bowery. So now I'd like to introduce our characters. Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge will be played by my good friend and guiding hand of the 5th Precinct Homicide Division,
Lieutenant Walter Levinson.
Walter?
Otis.
The character of Jacob Marley will be played by one of my dearest friends and constant companions.
Otis, that's you.
Huh? Oh, Sergeant Otis Loveloon.
Loveloon.
Walsh.
Oh, sorry, Helen. Tiny Tim will be played by our corner newsboy.
Johnny Rawlins.
Tiny Tim's mother will be played by my red-headed gal friend.
Helen Asher.
The rest of the characters will be played by members of the 5th Precinct Police Station.
Officer O'Reilly.
Officer Lund.
Officer Lefkowitz.
Sergeant Miller.
The music will be furnished by the 5th Precinct Police Band, directed by Patrolman Worth. And now, our version of the Christmas classic, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Once upon a time, there was a nasty old guy named Ebenezer Scrooge. He was nasty, all right. He didn't like anything, except maybe all the dough he could get his hands on. Scrooge had a little business that he started with his partner, Jacob Marley. The outfit was known as Scrooge and Marley Loan Company. But one day, poor old Marley just up and keeled over. So the boys along the big street gave him a nice funeral, and old Scrooge took over the business. Well, Marley had been dead for 7 years, and Scrooge lived alone in his little room over the office. And for a hobby, he hated everybody. He had a young guy working for him by the name of Bob Cratchit. Bob had a wife and 4 kids and made just enough to make ends meet. Scrooge used to ride him all the time. When it got so cold the polar bears complained, Cratchit would turn on the little heater, and Scrooge would say,
Cratchit, what do you think you're doing?
Turning on the heat, that's what I'm doing. My fingers look like popsicles.
Well, I don't care if they come in 6 delicious flavors. Every time you turn on that heater, it costs me money. Business is not good, so get back to your work and turn off the heat.
Oh, now look, Mr. Scrooge, I'm freezing. This pen ain't guaranteed to ride under ice.
I tell you once more, get back to your work.
Okay, Mr. Scrooge. I don't know why you worry about business. Why not just put up a sign, turn the joint into a skating rink?
Well, this was no time for any decent guy to act like that. It was Christmas Eve. Along about 5 o'clock, into the office came Scrooge's nephew, Fred.
Well, Merry Christmas, Bob.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Fred.
You get back to your work, Cratchit.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Oh, swell. Merry Christmas. Humbug.
Humbug.
Yeah, humbug. My old man didn't like Christmas, and that's what he used to say. Humbug.
Okay, humbug. But it's still Christmas, and I don't see where you get off not liking it. This is supposed to be the time everybody gets with it. Everything stops. That ain't much good, and you put your arm around the next guy, you tell him Merry Christmas.
I'll put my arm around you with a hammer on the end of it if you don't lay off that goodwill stuff.
Look, what's with you? What have you got against Christmas?
You show me a way to make $100 every Christmas, and I'll fall in love with it. Every time the holidays roll around, nobody pays their bills, and they all run around like they own the Chrysler Building. Look at you. $60 a week, and you're coming on like Rockefeller.
Well, sure, I make a lousy $60, but it ain't easy. But once a year, something happens with everybody in this big world. Well, nearly everybody. Because this is a day that somebody else started to make things right for us, and he had a really tough time doing it. It's more than just remembering. It's feeling. It's all around you. Christmas has got to be merry. Don't you get it?
You want me to be merry?
Well, sure.
Then go get some of these joyous clients of mine to pay off their loans.
The missus asked me to invite you over for dinner tomorrow.
Now, don't hold your breath.
Okay. Merry Christmas, Bob.
Merry Christmas, Fred.
Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Oh, humbug.
Late that evening, Scrooge went upstairs to his room, the room where Jacob Marley used to stay. It was dark in the little hall, and when Scrooge reached for the door, he looked up at the big brass knocker and saw...
Holy cow. I could have sworn that was old Jake's face in the knocker. I must be working too hard.
So in he went. A little shaky after seeing Jake Marley's face, but he just passed it off his nerves. He closed the door and locked it, then went over and sat down in front of the fireplace. He got a fire going and started to relax. But every tile around the fireplace started looking like Jake Marley's face.
Oh, now, come on, Abe, old boy. You got to get hold of yourself. This is ridiculous, and I haven't touched a drop in weeks.
He got up and walked around the room a few times, then went back and sat down again. He stretched, rested his head on the back of the chair. From somewhere a bell started chiming, and Scrooge sat straight up in his chair. He heard something else, too. Something from downstairs.
What the... Oh, now, what is that? What's going on? Who's that? Come on, who's out there?
Then all of a sudden it came right through the wall.
Marley! Jake Marley. Oh, no. I got to stop eating lobster. Oh, it couldn't be. Hey, what's with you? Who are you?
Jake Marley. Who else?
You're dead.
The deadest. But nevertheless, Jake Marley.
His ghost.
You're very sharp today, Scrooge, old boy.
I don't believe it.
You got eyes, ain't you?
Yeah, and I got a bad stomach, too. That's who you are. Nothing but a bad case of indigestion.
You don't think I'm a ghost, huh? Okay, maybe a good scare will change your mind. Whoa!
Oh, no. Stay away from me. I believe you.
Sold on the idea?
Yeah, but why do you got to come to see me?
Regulations. Every man is supposed to live his life and help his buddies. If he don't do it while he's alive, then he's got to do it after he kicks off. Oh!
Now, stop that. Hey, what's with all those chains and things you got wrapped around you?
Oh, these? Well, this here chain is like my life. Each one of these links is something I did wrong.
But why do you have to hold it around with you? Why don't you check it someplace?
Scrooge, old boy, when we was in business together, I never took time out to do any good. I just kept making a buck and figured that was enough. Well, now I got to pay for it. I got to haul this chain around and try to make up for all the things I didn't do when I was alive.
But why come to me?
Because you're going to end up just like me unless we do something in a hurry. Now, I haven't got much time, so you better listen.
Oh, I don't want to be like you. I'll listen.
Okay. You're going to have 3 visitors. You're going to be haunted by 3 spirits.
Oh, no.
It's the only way you can keep from being like me. When you hear that bell strike 1, the first one will be here. Well, I got to be going. You won't see me again, but you remember what I told you. So long, Scrooge, old boy. Your goosebumps can relax now.
After the ghost took off, Scrooge just refused to believe it.
Nuts. It's ridiculous. Humbug.
Then he climbed into the sack and was soon snoring up a storm. When Scrooge awoke, it was still dark, and the bell from the church on 53rd Street was striking 12. He laid awake listening and thinking to himself.
Oh, just a dream. Ghosts. Bah.
Finally, he dropped off again and slept for about an hour. Then the big bell struck 1.
1 o'clock and I don't see no ghost. I knew it was something I ate. Oh,
All of a sudden, a big light flashed in the room. The first of the spirits stood before him.
Oh, Jake was right. Are you the first spirit that Jake said would come to haunt me?
Yeah, you know it.
Well, who are you?
Me? I'm the ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah? How long past?
Your past. Come on, we're going to take a walk.
Oh, where are we going?
Just relax. I'm running this tour.
Oh, well, let me get my pants.
You got 'em.
Hey, they're on me.
With that, the ghost of Christmas past grabbed Scrooge by the hand, and they both flew out of the window. Scrooge nearly lost his upper plate. But before he could yell for help, he was standing in front of a dirty, ramshackle old tenement building.
You know where you are?
Sure, I know where I am. This is where I was brought up. Even the garbage cans are the same.
You had a pretty tough time when you were a kid, didn't you?
The toughest. I wasn't very big, and the rest of the kids in the neighborhood were. I had more black eyes than a crow.
You want to go in?
What for?
To see your folks.
My folks died a long time ago.
They're in there now. Come on.
Well, the ghost took old Scrooge into the building and showed him a Christmas years past when he was a child with his family. Sure, it was tough living in two little rooms like that, but Scrooge remembered how wonderful it really was.
What's the matter, Scrooge?
Huh? Oh, got something in my eye.
You were pretty lonely when your folks when they...
Yeah. You know, there was a young kid that came around earlier this evening and sang some carols. I wish...
Yeah, what do you wish?
Oh, nothing.
Come on. I want to show you another Christmas.
The spirit showed him another Christmas and still another. And you know, no matter how tough Scrooge remembered his childhood had been, it always seemed that Christmas was wonderful. Then the spirit took him to a building down by the river where Scrooge got his first job. They went inside, and seated behind a desk, Scrooge spotted...
Fezziwig. Well, I'll be darned. It's old Fezziwig alive again. And there's Dick Wilkins. He was a good boy. We got along great. He liked me.
Okay, everybody, it's Christmas Eve. You can knock off and have yourself a good time. You better lock up, Dick.
Sure, right away, Mr. Fezziwig.
And don't look so unhappy, Ebenezer. It's Christmas. Come on home with me and tear into a big turkey. All locked up, Dick?
Yes, sir.
Ready, Ebenezer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go and have Merry Christmas, you two.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
Mr.
Christmas,
Fezziwig.
Mr. Fezziwig. Merry Christmas.
Then the spirit took Scrooge over to Fezziwig's house, and they saw the wonderful party that Mrs. Fezziwig had gotten together. Scrooge watched and remembered, and the spirit said...
Wasn't Fezziwig a stupid, sentimental old goat?
Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you something. He was a great guy, he was. You know...
What, Scrooge?
I was just thinking about Bob Cratchit, who works for me. I think I'd like to do something for him. You know he's got a wife and 4 kids?
Is that right?
Yeah, 4 kids. Come on, I've seen enough.
Okay, but you gotta see these things if you want to get squared away. And believe me, brother, you need squaring away. Let's go home, Scrooge.
Before he knew it, Scrooge was back in his little room, and the spirit was gone. Scrooge was pretty beat, and he climbed into bed and dropped into a heavy sleep.
Huh? What's that? It's 2:00. Hey, that light in the other room. I got burglars.
Hey, Scrooge. Scrooge, come on in.
Who's that? What are you doing in the other room?
Come on in. Take a look. It's pretty nifty.
Hey, what is this? What have you done to the room? It looks like Macy's window. Where'd you get all the holly and the mistletoe? And how'd you get it in here?
You like it?
Oh, for Pete's sake, a Christmas tree. Who are you?
The ghost of Christmas present. Now, don't tell me you don't like the way I fix things up. I work pretty hard.
Oh, the second ghost. Okay, take me wherever you want to go, but believe me, the next time I try the train.
Come on, let's go. Now Now, what do you see?
Oh, I see bright colored lights. People having a lot of fun. Kids on sleighs.
See that building over there? The one with the big wreath on the front door?
I got 2020. That's where Bob Cratchit lives. He works for me. Hey, look. There's Bob now.
Yes, going into the house. Up all those stairs to the 5th floor. And he's got his little boy on his back.
Tiny Tim.
Yeah, got polio last summer. Pretty sick little boy.
I know. Bob said he'd need a lot of care if he was ever going to walk again.
Let's take a peek.
Hi.
Hello, honey. You and Tim have a good time?
Best. Didn't we, Tim?
Yeah, Dad. We watched all the kids on the block on their sleds. Mom, will I ever be able to ride a sled? Of course, Tim. Won't he, dear?
Sure thing, Roughneck. Next Christmas, you'll be out there doing belly whoppers with the rest of them.
Dad, what's the matter? Your eyes are all wet.
Nothing, Tim. I just got some snow in them.
Want some dinner, Tim? Oh, Mom, stew for Christmas? I'm sorry, Tim. Oh, that's okay, Mom. I like stew. Bob, will you please say grace? Can I say something first, Mom? Of course, Tim. What would you like to say? God bless us. Everyone.
What's the matter, Scrooge, old boy? Got some snow in your eyes, too?
Tell me something.
Sure, if I can.
What about Tiny Tim?
Oh, can't say for sure. But if his old man makes enough money next year to get the right doctors, little Tim will get along just fine. But times are tough, aren't they, Scrooge?
Yeah.
Now the spirit of Christmas present took Scrooge to many places and showed him a lot of happiness and a lot of misery. And finally, back to his little room, and the spirit was gone.
Oh, I don't know whether I can take much more of this.
Then a new ghost drifted in. This was the worst yet. He was really done up for haunting. He was all dressed in black with one arm sticking out and pointing right at poor old Scrooge. This was the last one of the spirits. Scrooge's knees sounded like castanets on a reducing machine.
Okay. You don't have to tell me. You're the ghost of the Christmas that hasn't come yet. You I'm really scared of.
The ghost took off with Scrooge right after him. The city disappeared, and Scrooge found himself on the outskirts of town, standing in the graveyard. The night was howling like it was mad. And as Scrooge looked down, he saw...
Hey, what's this? What's this stone?
The black spirit stood still and pointed, so Scrooge leaned down and pulled away the bushes and saw it was a tombstone.
Well, there's a name here. Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, no. Look, not this. Believe me, I don't want this. I know I've done wrong, but I'm not kidding. I really know what Christmas means. It doesn't mean just today or tomorrow. It's every day of your life. I swear I'll do better. Only take me away from this. Let me try. Let me try to make Christmas right for me and everybody else. Please, don't let this happen. Give me another chance. Well, don't just stand there. Put your arm back in. You'll catch cold. Well, say something.
Suddenly, Scrooge dropped to his knees and reached out for the spirit. But something happened. The spirit started to shrink. Then it collapsed. And when Scrooge looked up...
What the... My bedpost. My own bedpost. I'm home. Oh, thank goodness. I lived the past and the present and the future, and now I'm home. Hallelujah. Spirits, wherever you are, believe me. From now on, things are going to be different. Oh, yeah. And thanks.
Paper! Morning, paper!
Hey, boy.
Yeah?
What day is this?
It's Christmas. What's with you?
Christmas. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. I haven't missed it. The spooks did it all in one night. Boy.
Yeah? Oh, it's you, Mr. Scrooge.
How many papers have you got?
I don't know. Why?
Well, here's $5. Throw them away and go have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Gee, thanks, Mr. Scrooge. And a Merry Christmas to you.
Hey, boy, say that again.
Thanks?
No, the other.
You mean Merry Christmas?
Yeah, that's it. Merry Christmas.
Oh,
Okay, I'm coming. What's the matter with you? Can't you see the store's closed? Look, mister, this is... Ebenezer Scrooge.
Merry Christmas, Barney.
Huh? Hey, you been drinking?
Not a drop. Well, what's the matter with you? Ain't you going to wish me a Merry Christmas?
Sure. Come on in. Wife's upstairs with her mother, but I got a bottle in the back. I think maybe you better have something strong.
Look, your grocery store's closed, but you could still sell me a turkey, couldn't you?
Well, I don't know.
Well, you got a couple, they'll just go to waste.
What do you want a turkey for? You've been eating at the automat every Christmas for the last 7 years.
Oh, it's not for me. But nevertheless, I have been invited to my nephew Fred's house for a Christmas dinner.
Well, then who's the bird for?
Bob Cratchit. You know, the young guy that works for me.
Oh, yeah. How much you going to charge him?
Here's $20. That ought to be enough for the bird.
No. It ain't worth that much. You sure you ain't been into something?
Well, if it's too much, give the rest to your kid and have him deliver the turkey to Cratchit's house.
Huh?
Here's the address, and don't tell Cratchit who sent the thing, okay?
Okay.
Merry Christmas, Barney.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Well, old Scrooge went back to his rooms and took out an old blue suit out of the mothballs. He shook it out, put a few creases in it, and went out into the street. The old boy was really with it. Everybody he passed, he greeted them with,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Eh? Oh, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Scrooge went to church and gave a large donation, and Father McCarthy nearly forgot his sermon. And then Scrooge went out on the street again and down into the Bowery.
Oh, God bless you, sir, and a Merry Christmas.
Isn't it, though?
He kept walking and having a great time. Later that afternoon, he arrived at his nephew's house.
Well, what the... Merry Christmas, Fred. I've come to dinner.
Oh, my gosh.
Here, I brought you some presents.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, don't thank me. It's Christmas, remember?
Oh, my gosh.
Next morning, Scrooge was early at the office. If he could just catch Cratchit coming in late. And he did. Bob was a good 21 minutes late.
Cratchit?
Oh, no.
You're 21 minutes late.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Scrooge. I had a big evening last night.
You did, huh? You know what I told you if I caught you fancy-footing it in here late again.
Okay, so I'm canned.
You think you got it coming?
Oh, I'm too tired to argue, Mr. Scrooge. Jobs are tough enough, and I hate to lose this one, but I'm just too tired.
A raise would help, huh?
That's the silliest question of the year.
Then you got it. It's in that envelope.
Well, what?
Yeah, and maybe after we see how the funds are, we can do something about Tiny Tim.
No, I don't get it. A raise? You want to do something about Tim? I don't get it.
Sure you do, Bob. Haven't you heard? It's Christmas. Now, go on home, take the day off.
Yeah.
Take the week off.
Oh.
Come back when you feel like it. Merry Christmas.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yeah?
Merry Christmas.
And Scrooge really did it. He was as good as his word, better even. He made it the merriest Christmas ever. And later, things got better, and he took care of Tiny Tim. And sure enough, Tim was out on his sled the next Christmas doing belly whoppers with the best of them. Every Christmas thereafter, all along the big street, it was said, if anyone knew how to make Christmas merry, old Ebenezer Scrooge was that one.
And I hope that can really be said about all of us, just like Tiny Tim said.
God bless us, everyone.
That's right, Tim. God bless us, everyone.
Merry Christmas. God bless everyone.
Oh, Rick.
Yes, Helen?
That was wonderful. Not quite the way Dickens wrote it, but it meant the same thing.
Oh, you really like it, baby?
Oh, I loved it. No reason in the world why old Scrooge couldn't have been living right here today. You've got the spirit, and that's what counts. How did you like it, Walt?
Rick, I gotta hand it to you. It was really great.
Lieutenant.
Yeah, what is it, Otis?
How'd I do in the play?
You were magnificent, Sergeant.
You know, I'll bet if I studied for a couple of weeks, I'd get me a part on Broadway. To be or not to be. That's the question.
Oh, no.
Now, Walt, leave him alone.
Oh, sure. Monsieur Otis. Huh? Wouldst thou accompany me over to the punch bowl for a short flagon of nectar?
Sure, I would.
See you later, Helen. Rick? Yeah. Come on, Barrymore. Let's see if the punch bowl fits your head.
Oh, aren't they lovely?
You want something to eat?
Hey, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Listen.
They're out here by this window.
Come on, let's go listen.
Use that carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing new before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of you thy treasure, fa la 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 la.
Oh, wasn't that wonderful, Rick?
It sure was.
Rick, sing something with them.
Oh, no, honey, I don't want to louse up the
Please, Rick, come on.
All right. I tell you what I'll do. Everybody usually sings Christmas songs about snow. I'm going to sing one about sunshine. It's called Melikalikimaka.
Melikalikimaka?
Well, it means Merry Christmas in Hawaiian.
In Hawaiian?
Sure. It's a brand new song. They love it over there, and we'll love it here. Melikalikimaka is the thing to say, and haolimaka hiki-ho. That's our Christmas greeting in Hawaii, and a happy new year, too. With the hope that Christmas may be green and bright, the sun to shine by day and all the stars that night. Melikalikimaka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas to you.
With the hope that Christmas may be green and bright, the sun to shine by day, and all the stars that night.
Melikalikimaka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas to you.
Rick, Merry Christmas.
Yes. And a Merry Christmas to everybody.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord.
Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective, will return to the air at a new day and time, Sunday, January 15th. Till then, this is Eddie King relaying our best wishes for the holiday season.
NBC presents transcribed Frank Lovejoy in Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. Christmas Eve. Jingle bells, silent night, boughs of holly. Yeah, they say there's a warmth about Christmas that spreads out like a fan and touches everyone. The holiday spirit, it's called. But right at the moment, I'm thinking of one character who was nearly left out in the cold last Christmas. None other than yours truly. Me, Myself, Randy Stone. It started out like any other Christmas Eve. An exchange of gifts, a few drinks, some off-key caroling, everybody killing time until the going-home nod from the boss. Everybody, that is, but me. No, I wasn't going home, because as far back as I can remember, Christmas has been another work day for Stone. I waited around for the noisy holiday gang to leave so I could settle down to work. And then Sam Bullock, the big boss, sent for me, and I walked across to his office.
Oh, come in, Randy, come in.
How are you, boss?
Sit down, Randy.
Oh, such politeness can mean only one thing. I'm fired.
No, this is even more embarrassing, Randy. I'm going to give you a little something in the way of a present.
Ah, I'll come back when you're sober.
When's the last time you had Christmas off, my boy?
I can't remember why.
Well, you're having this one off. 5 days of it to spend with your family.
Well, what family? Boss, you know better than that. What'll I do with myself?
Well, a man who knows as many people as you do, well, it'll be the best thing in the world for you.
Hey, yeah. Yeah, it might really be something. Say, I could call Alex Stevens. He's been bothering me for 8 years to spend Christmas with his family.
Sure.
Or maybe Alice over in Classified. You know, I'm beginning to like the idea.
Okay, well, you'd better beat it before this noble impulse of mine evaporates.
Well, you hang on to it. I'm leaving now.
And, Randy.
Yeah?
Merry Christmas to you.
Right back at you, Chief. And thanks for the break. The revelers had gone now, and the office was empty except for one man. Old Ed Collins sat watching the teletype machines. He looked up when he saw me.
Thought you'd gone, Randy.
No.
What are you looking so smug about?
Oh, boss gave me 5 days off.
Swell. What are you going to do, go home?
Home is a bachelor apartment on 7th Avenue. No, Collins, I'm going to call my old pal Alex Stevens in Decatur and tell him to meet the morning train.
Good idea.
Long distance? I want to call Decatur, the Stevens residence. Alex Stevens in Decatur. I'll wait. Mm-hmm. Phone's ringing all right.
Good, good.
Oh, this'll floor Alec. 8 years he's been after me. Must have an old maid sister-in-law or something.
Careful, Randy. Tried to marry me off once when I was younger.
Should have answered by now. Oh, what's that, operator? Oh, no. No use ringing anymore. He must have gone out of town for the holidays.
Gone out of town, eh?
Yeah. I guess I'll have to settle for female company.
Not home either?
Well, that was a screwy idea. I don't know why I went for it. Phoning people at the last minute like this.
Guy, with the friends you have...
Oh, sure. The friends I have, millions of them till I go looking for one.
Oh, there's a Christmas card for you on my desk. Keep forgetting to give it to you.
I'll get it later.
Hey, my folks only live 40 miles out. Boy, would they be glad to have you spend a few days with them. I could call them.
No, Ed, forget it. What's a guy like me want with a holiday on Christmas? I'm shoving off, Ed.
How about that envelope on my desk?
Later. Looks like I might be back to play a little pinochle with you.
Now, my ma, all I've got to do is phone her.
No, I'll make out all right. See you later.
And have yourself a time. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. I didn't want to make any more calls in front of Collins, so I headed for the nearest phone booth. Well, I made another 3-4 calls. No dice. Randy Stone, a guy who couldn't walk a downtown block without saying hello to half a dozen people, couldn't find one lousy bum who'd be his friend tonight, Christmas Eve. I went back to the office hoping some big story had broken so that I could put myself to work. Nothing come in, Ed?
Not a thing. Even the thugs are home tonight.
Anybody phone me?
No. Here's that letter I was telling you about.
Oh, thank you.
What's that, money?
It's a 50-cent piece.
What's he want, your autograph?
It just says, God bless you, Mr. Stone, signed Catherine Malloy. I don't know any Catherine Malloy. Hey, this is all the earmarks of an office gag, and a pretty poor one at that.
It's $50.
Yeah, it'll buy a drink.
Say, Randy.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you'd change your mind about going out to my folks' place.
No, thank you, Ed. No, thank you.
My ma, she...
No, I said no. Ed, no, thank you. Outside it was snowing, light and fluffy, like it had been specially ordered for the occasion. And the people went about their business humming and singing little snatches of song. You know, oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Yeah, there was warmth and good feeling everywhere. But my mood was more than a match for it, and I was beginning to feel sorry for myself. Like an unwanted cat, I took my mood out to get it drowned at Bobby's bar.
Randy, how are you, boy? How are you?
Wow. What's with this place? It's like a morgue.
Well, haven't you heard? It's Christmas.
Yeah, I've heard. Will you put a dime in that thing, get something snappy?
Okay. There we are. Hey. You lonely, Randy?
Get me a whiskey sour.
Yeah. That's the way it is with me, too. I don't need nobody. Nobody needs me. It's all right, I guess, only 2 or 3 times a year you wish it was different. You know when it hits me? Christmas, Easter, and May 17th. That's the date my mother died. But Christmas and Easter was a big time in our house. You know, we had 11 kids.
Look, why don't you write a book?
You act like this was something new to you. To me, it's like this every Christmas. You know, the important thing is don't be alone.
How much do I owe you?
50 cents.
Here.
You know, when you try and fight it, you gotta lose. Randy, are you going into a new business?
What do you mean?
Well, I thought maybe you might have gone into manufacturing.
Manufacturing what?
Coins. But, brother, if you are, you got a lot to learn. This is about the phoniest $50 I ever saw.
Phony?
Yeah.
Give it to me. Yeah, That was somebody's idea of a gag. Some half-wit in the office.
Ain't much of a joke, I'll tell you.
Mrs. Malloy, huh? I'll fix those guys.
You gone?
Yeah.
Hey, well, what's your hurry? You ain't gonna leave me here alone, are you? Wait till somebody else comes in.
So long, Bob.
Well, you ought to stick around so we can talk, Randy.
You're wasting it on me.
Okay, Randy, but remember what I said. Don't be by yourself. Whatever you do, don't get to be alone.
I stopped at the corner drugstore and bought a couple of magazines and went to my apartment ready to spend a quiet holiday. 7 o'clock. Great. Nice, long evening ahead of me. Lots of time to hate the world and feel sorry for myself. I poured myself a quick drink, and then somebody rang my doorbell. Yeah, just a minute.
Hi.
A 10, 11-year-old kid stood in the doorway looking up at me. His face was clean, but his clothes were patched and ragged. He wore a red pullover sweater at least 5 sizes too big for his skinny frame.
Hello, Mr. Stone.
Wow, what do you want?
Don't you remember me?
Well, I remember 10,000 of you. What do you want, a handout?
I'm Jerry Malloy. Remember Mrs. Malloy?
Who sent you up here? Whose idea was it? McFarland's, the office wise guy?
My mother sent me.
Well, you go back and tell your mother not to send phony coins through the mails. And if your mother happens to be McFarland, tell him that...
She said for me to give you this letter. I'm to wait for your answer.
Look, kid, take your letter and beat it. Enough is enough.
She said maybe...
Will you take the letter? Now, come on. What are you waiting for?
I'll leave it with you.
No. Here's 2 bits for you. Now, go tell McFarland the joke is over. Now, beat it before I get mad.
Mother said to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Beat it. I'd no sooner slammed the door shut when I began feeling like a heel. And I opened the door half hoping I'd find him standing there. But he was gone. But resting on the mat in front of my door was the quarter I'd given him. I picked it up and I stood there with the coin burning my fingers. I knew I wouldn't feel quite clean again until I'd found that kid and made it right with him. Somehow. I had to get to the kid, but how? The logical starting point seemed to be the newspaper office. I put my coat on. I was about to leave when a sharp knock sounded on my door. I opened the door and a policeman came in.
Mr. Stone?
Oh, yeah, come in.
Thanks. I'm Lieutenant Saunders. Know anything about this?
Well, this envelope's addressed to me. Where did you get it?
Do you recognize it?
A kid came in here about 15 minutes ago and wanted to give it to me.
You sure this is the same letter?
Well, the writing's the same as another letter I got at the office. Why? What happened?
The boy who brought you this letter. What's his name?
I don't know. He said it was Malloy, but I don't think it is.
Give me a description.
Oh, he's, 10, 11 years old. 95 pounds, light brown hair, wearing a faded red sweater, patched trousers. What's this all about?
Hit by a car. Driver picked him up and took him away.
Hit? How bad?
Nobody knows. Woman who saw it from a window thinks the kid was dead.
The car got away?
Yeah. She didn't see the license number. When we got there, we found this letter on the street.
And the kid may be dead?
Yeah, it looks like it. Said his name was Malloy, huh?
Yeah, that's what he said. Can I see that letter? Maybe there's something in it.
Sure. What's it say?
It's kind of hard to read.
Looks like some kid wrote it.
Dear Mr. Stone, we're hoping that you'll come out to have Christmas dinner with us. I've told Jerry not to leave till he brings back your answer saying yes. It's signed Mrs. Catherine Malloy. I don't know a Catherine Malloy.
Well, maybe they mistook you for somebody else.
I thought it was part of an office gag, and I still think so. Let me go back there and check. I'll call you later.
Where do you work, Mr. Stone?
Chicago Star.
Oh, you're that Randy Stone. Well, look, if you get any information, phone it into the precinct.
Hi, Randy. What's the matter with you? Look like you've been run over by a streetcar.
Well, that's how I feel. Collins, you gotta help me.
Well, if I can, sure. What is it?
Now, first of all, tell me. Did anybody in the office plant a phony coin in an envelope and send it to me in a Christmas card?
Well, not that I know of. Who'd pull a crazy stunt like that?
I don't know. I gotta find out about that kid.
What kid?
Well, he came to my apartment with a message, and on his way home, he was hit by a car.
Bad?
A driver picked him up and took him away, and the cops think that he was dead.
And you don't know the kid?
No. He said his name was Jerry Malloy. He said it like it should have meant something to me. But it doesn't. I've never seen him before.
Well, maybe it's someone you've forgotten. A guy meets a lot of people in this business.
Yeah, that could be. I want you to do something for me, Ed.
What?
Check with as many of the boys you can reach at home. Find out if they know anything about the kid, and then phone the police and see if they've found him. If you want me, I'll be in the library.
What are you going to do there?
Well, something that makes me shudder, but I'm going to do it anyway.
What's that?
I'm going to dig back through all my stories for the past year and see if I can find a Mrs. Malloy.
Maybe you didn't use her name.
Well, I'll see what I can find. You get busy on that phone. Collins left me alone, and I went to work. It's funny how inane some of the stuff you write seems after it's been buried. Only 3 of the bits offered any idea of who Mrs. Malloy might be. One about a woman who'd refused to leave a cat in a burning house. Another about a middle-aged lady bookie. And the last about a woman and her family who were being evicted from a slum apartment for lack of rent money. The story was about the bystanders and how they dug into their pockets and raised $40 so the woman could get back into her place.
How you doing?
Well, I'm not sure, but I think I've got something.
Well, I called the boys. They don't know anything about the kid or the letter.
You phoned the police?
Yeah.
Well?
They want you down to headquarters.
Me? What for?
To identify the kid. They think they found him.
Dead?
Not much chance to live.
Where is he?
State hospital.
It's a pleasant chore for Christmas Eve, isn't it?
Dandy.
Well, then I guess they want me to go and see his mother and say, guess what I brought you for Christmas.
Oh, snap out of it, Randy. It wasn't your fault.
Yeah. I phoned headquarters, and they sent a radio car to get me. From there, we went to State Hospital. Lieutenant Saunders was there waiting for me. A nurse led us down a long hallway.
Severe concussions and possible internal injuries, the doc said. Doesn't think he'll live. In here. This is the boy. Go on, Stone. Take a look.
All right.
Well, is that him?
No, that isn't Jerry Malloy. For a minute, I felt a sense of relief, but I knew I was kidding myself. Sooner or later, Jerry's body would be found, and until then and after then, I'd feel the guilt to be mine. You see, by now I knew the kid was on the level. He'd been sent to me with a message offering me a home for Christmas, and in my blind stupidity, I sent him away. Nice guy, this Randy Stone. The cops dropped me off at the paper and told me they'd keep in touch.
Well?
No, it's not him.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to find Mrs. Malloy.
That 50-cent coin, that's what makes it interesting. Why money in a Christmas card, and a phony coin at that?
Well, maybe she didn't know it was phony.
All right, then. She didn't know it was phony, but why was she sending you money? You lending the stuff out at 15%?
What? Hey, wait a minute. You got something there. Maybe she did owe me some money. That woman that was tossed out on the street, $40 we raised for her, she took my name and said she'd send me my $5 back.
Well, can you remember where she lived?
It was on the south side. I remember the building. Yeah, I can find her. Collins, I can find that kid's poor mother.
Well, isn't that what you wanted?
I don't know. You know what I really want? I'd like to start this whole evening over again. Think you could arrange it for me? I suppose I could have let the police handle it, but I'd developed a burning need to tell her myself. I hopped into a cab and went scouting for the building she'd lived in. I hoped I wouldn't find it, and yet I knew I wouldn't stop until I did. I found it all right where it had always been, pressed between the ugliness of two warehouses. I hung around outside for 10 minutes before I could find the courage to go and face it. Apartment 6 she'd lived in. I stood in front of it and listened to the muffled sounds of a radio playing dance music inside.
Well, hello.
May I come in? I've got to talk to you.
Oh, I'd like very much to have you come in, but my husband, he's a bouncer in the nightclub. Maybe some other time.
Look, Mrs. Malloy, I've got to talk to you.
What about Christmas Eve? Go away. Hey, what Mrs. did you say I was?
Malloy, Catherine Malloy.
I'm not Mrs. Malloy. I never was, never will be. My name's Mrs. Manty, Carol Manty. You know, the more I look at you, the more I wish I was your Mrs. Malloy. But I'm not. I'm really not. How do you like that?
Well, I like it a lot more than you'll ever know. You know where I can find her? She lived in this apartment 4 or 5 months ago.
Never heard of her. Maybe if you ask the caretaker, he'll know.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll do that. I was glad this woman wasn't Jerry's mother. I'd built a picture of Mrs. Malloy that didn't jive with a slightly tipsy frump staring at me out of hazy eyes. I called him a caretaker. Yes, Mrs. Malloy lived here, but she'd moved a couple of months ago, and he didn't know where to. He told me to try Kozlov's grocery store. The storekeeper there was a living city directory. Mr. Kozlov?
None other. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for a Mrs. Malloy who used to live in the Elkin Apartments. I was wondering if you knew where she'd moved to.
Malloy?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes, I remember her, but I don't know where she moved to. A good woman. Didn't owe me a penny when she left.
I've got to find her.
She was working steady when she moved. Wages every week makes difference.
You think some of her neighbors would know where she moved to?
Oh, they do a big turnover in some of those places, but with wages coming in regular, I think I know how you can find her.
How?
It's a pattern people follow. When things can't be worse, then they live in places like the Elkin Apartments. But when they're working and a little money is coming in, they move up a notch. That's the way it works.
Where is this notch, this step up?
It's a gamble. But if I was you, I'd try Blake Avenue, somewhere around 20th. That's the way it goes, from Elkin to Blake. Sometimes back to Elkin. Sometimes not.
Sometimes 3 hours can be an eternity. It was 10 o'clock now. 3 hours since the kid had knocked on my door. The streets were full of happy, smiling people, and the snow made everything look like a Christmas display window in one of the big stores. I'd have given 10 years' salary to be like the people rushing into the stores for the last-minute presents for Aunt Agatha. I went into the stores all right, but to ask them if they knew where I could find a dead kid's mother. Took me about 15 calls to locate her. A druggist gave me her address, 1461 Burkell Street, apartment 9. Before going there, I called the office.
Hello?
Oh, Ed, anybody phone?
Nope. I guess I haven't found him yet.
Well, how about the mother, Mrs. Malloy? You think she'd have called the police by now?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Well, maybe she didn't phone because she thought the kid was in good hands.
Well, it wasn't your fault, Randy.
Well, I've located her. And now comes the pleasant part of the job, telling her about it. How will I start? Merry Christmas, Mrs. Malloy, and a Happy New Year. May the New Year bring you all...
Why are you going off the deep end like this, Randy?
Yeah, I know. It wasn't my fault. I was just an innocent bystander. So long. I made another call, police headquarters. They had nothing new on it. The kid would turn up, they said. He'd be pretty dead, but he'd turn up. I told them I was going to see the kid's mother, that I'd located her. Lieutenant Saunders thought that would be a swell idea. I walked down the street to Mrs. Malloy's apartment house, and I stood there a minute. From where I was standing, I could see the sign on top of the Chicago Star building. Mrs. Malloy lived only 3 blocks from my smug little tower. From Star to empty apartment to Malloy and back to the Star. But that's the way it looked geographically as well as symbolically. Another 20 minutes wouldn't matter much, I thought. So I walked the couple of blocks it took me to get back to Bobby's Bar and Grill.
Hi, Randy. You're not making the rounds of the bars, are you?
No. Make it a double bourbon. Water.
Double bourbon?
Yeah, double. Not much trade tonight.
Oh, later they come. Randy, why is it hitting you so hard?
You scratch a little of the veneer off, and what do you find? A sentimental slob.
What's bad about that?
Well, then you find that you can't do things that have got to be done.
Like what? What needs being done tonight?
Like telling a woman that her young son is dead and that I had a lot to do with it.
You're kidding.
I'm not. How do you go about a job like that?
Well, how did it happen?
Does it matter?
No. You think whiskey will help?
Close the place up, Bob, and come with me. You don't have to say anything. Just stand there with me.
No.
It's a one-man job, huh?
As far as I'm concerned.
Well, maybe you're right. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
I climbed up the creaky old stairs. It was no better than a tenement house. Only one thing distinguished it from a slum, and that was a cool, clean smell. The walls were torn and the woodwork was scarred and marred, but it was clean. I know it's crazy, but I got a lot of courage out of that feeling of cleanliness. I stood in front of apartment 9, listening. And then I knocked on the door.
Who is it?
It's me, Randy Stone.
Mr. Stone, how welcome you are. Come in.
Thank you.
I'll close the door to the children's room. They are only fallen asleep, and if they hear us, they'll be sure you're Sunday.
She walked away to close the door, and I wondered how I'd ever come to forget Mrs. Malloy. Her face was overflowing with a deep spiritual beauty that lighted up the whole room. She came back and sat down near me.
I'm so happy you hadn't forgotten me, Mr. Stone. I was afraid you might have. Then when I was able to make a small payment on that loan, I thought I would ask you to come to see us. God will never let me forget what you did for us that night, Mr. Stone.
Mrs. Malloy, I
don't mean to embarrass you, really, I don't. But I knew if you possibly could, you would share some part of Christmas with us. I knew that the old and shabby furniture would make no difference to you. This humble home...
Well, Christmas began in a humble home.
Yes, that's what I told Jerry.
Mrs. Malloy, about Jerry, I don't know how to say it.
Say what? What is it, Mr. Stone?
Well, about Jerry not being home.
I don't understand.
The bedroom door opened and a boy walked out. I caught my breath and held it. It was Jerry. Jerry!
Hello, Mr. Stone.
Jerry Malloy, go back to bed this minute.
Oh, no, please, let him stay. Jerry, I heard that you were hurt.
Oh, that. I was just shook up a little.
The man drove me home.
Jerry, you didn't tell me about that.
It was nothing.
Jerry, when you knocked on my
I told
door...
Ma all about it. About the way you made me come into your room and have some fruit and candy. And how glad you were when you read that letter.
That's right. And he told me how you said you would get down to our house tomorrow night if it was the last thing you ever did.
That's what you said, wasn't it, Mr. Stone?
I tell you, Mr. Stone, this boy of mine is uncanny. Do you know what he told me? He said he shouldn't be surprised if you came down to visit us tonight.
Did you say that, son?
Didn't you, son?
Yes.
Tell him your exact words, Jerry. Go on. Mr. Stone is no stranger.
Say it, Jerry.
I said I wouldn't be surprised if he even comes to see us tonight. He needs us that bad for Christmas.
In those 3 little rooms on the edge of the city's slums, I learned that human beings can find happiness. And don't listen to what your banker tells you. It's a thing of the spirit, not of the pocket. In that shabby little apartment with a cracked linoleum and a threadbare sofa, I learned the magic of the words. Merry Christmas. Copy, boy.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy, is produced and directed by Warren Lewis, edited by Larry Marcus. Tonight's story was written by Warren Lewis and Lou Rusoff, with music by Robert Armbruster. Featured in tonight's cast were Kate McKenna, Sammy Ogg, Ralph Moody, Jan Arvan, Bill Conrad, and Gail Bonney. Don Rickles speaking. Our star, Frank Lovejoy, and all of us on Night Beat wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle
Faraday.
bells. Huh?
Faraday, just because we're going out to have Christmas dinner together, don't forget you're driving an automobile, not a sleigh.
Now, Blackie, don't tell me you object to Inspector Faraday's being full of Christmas spirit on Christmas Eve.
No, Mary, I just object to his voice.
Very amusing. Blackie, I know now what I should have given you for Christmas. A sense of humor.
If I didn't already have one, how could I tolerate you?
Well, somebody should give you both a book of instructions on how to get along.
And especially he, him.
You know we're only kidding, Mary.
We are.
Stop that man! Stop that man!
What?
Hey!
Did you hear that, Blackie?
Stop him! Oh,
I
not
only
trouble
hear it,
on
I see it.
Christmas Eve.
Shopkeeper's chasing a man up the street. Step on it, Faraday. We can catch him.
Don't tell me what to do.
Pull up to the curb now, Inspector, and I can grab him.
Now, take it easy, take it
Okay, we just passed him. Wait, don't jump till I've slowed down a little.
Well, hurry up, or he'll pass us.
Now, Blackie, be careful.
You mean Blackie, be quick.
Well, now
Here
look
goes.
out.
Here goes. All right, you. You hold it right here now.
Let go of me, Matt. Let go of me.
Sure, as soon as the shopkeeper you just robbed gets here. And here he comes.
Hold on to him. He took 4 diamond rings out of my store. Now,
I
give me
can-
those rings. Give them to me. I don't have no rings of yours, Mac. Oh, yes, you do. Right in your pocket here. I've watched you since you ran out of the store. You couldn't have given them to anybody.
I'll hold them while you search them.
Okay. Why, they're not here. Oh, because I didn't take nothing, see? Well, where are my rings? I want those rings.
So go find them. Only I got news for you. You ain't gonna find them on me.
He took the rings out of the tray on the counter here, Inspector Faraday.
You said that.
Yes, but he did. He took the rings and ran out that door.
Sorry, Mr. Stacy. Unless I find the stolen rings on this guy here, what can I do about it?
Nothing, Faraday. Absolutely nothing.
Quiet, you.
Look, Blackie, you and this copper pal of yours searched me twice. Out on the street and here in the store. The rings ain't on me.
But they are. You took them. I saw you.
If I took a Mac, where are they now?
I have a pretty good idea.
I hope it's better than pretty good, Blackie, because this guy's made 4 rings do a pretty good disappearing act.
And I know how, too.
Yeah.
He threw them away when he saw he was being chased.
That's a lie.
Yes, he could have done that. He could have.
I'd like to bet he didn't.
So go ahead, bet. Only let me alone. It's Christmas Eve. I got someplace to go.
I'll say you have. To headquarters, where I'm going to hold you until I find out who you are. And if you want it for anything else.
The only thing I want it for is Christmas Eve dinner. Hey, Blackie.
Yeah?
You're supposed to be such a genius. What happened?
Friend, before I'm through with you, for your Christmas dinner, I'm going to make you eat those words.
All visitors back Back behind the ropes, please. The passengers are coming down the gangplank now.
Hey, guard. Guard.
Yes, what is it?
My name's Clark. I'm here to pick up a guy who don't speak English. Say not a word of it. Would you help me find him?
You know what he looks like?
Yeah, he's a big guy, about 6'6", maybe 250 pounds. His name's Abby.
Well, there's the big guy coming down the gangplank now with a sign on him. Maybe that's the guy.
Oh, yeah, he looks like the guy I want. Hey, Abby! Abby!
Yeah, he's coming over, so I guess he understands his name, even if he doesn't understand English.
Yeah, I guess so. Thanks.
No trouble at all. All visitors behind the ropes, please.
Sanya Abby. Bolo Grino. Retsim Clark.
Ratsim Clark. Braga.
Sitaba Abby, you big jerk.
Braga. Ratsim Clark.
All right. You don't know what I'm talking about, Abby, because you don't know a word of English. But you use a gun good. Pretty good, they tell me. And if you do, we'll be speaking the same language, all right? Where are those rings, Martin? Where are they?
Listen, Clark, I told you I don't have
You're
them.
lying. I know you took them out of the store because I saw you run out of the place and beat it up the street.
Well, if you'd hung around, you'd have seen me nabbed and hauled off to police headquarters.
If you were caught by the police, you'd still be in jail.
Not me. I ain't got no record, remember? Blackie and that cop Faraday took me down there, checked on me, and let me go.
All right, you ran into trouble, but you got out of it. Now, where are those rings?
I ain't got
You
them.
took them out of the store, so why haven't you got them?
Calm down and give me a chance to tell you.
I'll give you just 10 seconds to hand over those rings. I spotted the jewelry store and cased it for you. Now, don't try to cross me.
Hey, now, look, don't get tough, or maybe I'll just leave the rings lay right where they are.
Oh, you will.
Yeah, I will. Hey, let go of me.
Sure. After I've taught you a little lesson. Huh? Hey, Abby, attune him.
Hey, who's that monster?
He's a character wanted for murder in Europe. A friend of mine sent him to me for Christmas.
Friend, huh?
He don't understand no English, but he's tough. I'm going to prove that to you.
Yeah?
Abby.
There's Bruno.
Abby, lead a lock.
Sena. Hey. Sena. Hey, call this guy off. Call him off, I'll tell you. Call him off. Sena. Almost broke my jaw, Clark.
Abby, Stroof Gondolak.
Yes, Dragnet.
You lay off now, Martin. That is, unless you still have the idea you're not telling me what you did with those rings.
Sure, I'll tell you. When the jeweler was chasing me, I see a Santa Claus up the street, ringing his bell and collecting stuff.
So?
So when I passed him just before Blackie grabbed me, I threw the rings in a big iron pot the Santa Claus had. Nobody saw me, and I know how to get them back.
You better. No, I thought for a minute there that you was going to be the only guy in history who gave Santa Claus a present.
Blackie, what's the matter with you and Inspector Faraday? Everybody else in this restaurant's having fun, but look at you two.
I'm sorry, Mary. And I don't like what that guy Joe Martin did to us this evening.
And I don't like the fact that we had nothing on him in the file at headquarters.
No, eat your dinner, both of you.
All right.
This is Christmas Eve, and we're supposed to be having a party.
When we let Martin go, my appetite went with him.
Well,
Blackie, what did he do with those rings?
Who knows? He took them according to the jeweler, but he got rid of them somehow without being seen. Apparently, he didn't throw them away because we searched the street.
well, when you two see Santa Claus, tell him that what you want for Christmas is an explanation of how Martin got rid of those rings.
Hey, wait a minute, Mary. That's not a bad thought.
Really?
No. I know how those rings were hidden and why they haven't been found.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Blackie. What's Santa Claus got to do with that?
Martin gave the rings to Santa Claus.
What? Blackie, haven't you heard? There ain't no Santa Claus.
There was one ringing a little bell on the corner near the jewelry store.
Yes, and Martin passed him just a few seconds before I caught up with him.
Yeah, but how would Martin give those rings to Santa Claus without Santa Claus knowing it?
By tossing them in his collection bucket, Faraday. Come on, we're getting out of here.
Blackie, that Santa Claus won't still be there.
No, but all those street corner St. Nick's are working for the Welfare Society.
Yeah, so?
I'll call them, and they'll tell me where we can find the guy.
You think Santa Claus still has the rings, huh?
Yep. If Martin hasn't found him by now and taken them back, in which case we'll find Santa Claus has been clipped.
Who is it?
Joe Martin, Clark.
Come in.
It's me.
Never mind the introduction. Where are the rings?
Well, keep Two-Ton Tony from Tibet away from me. I got the rings right here.
Well, where I want them is right here in my hand.
Sure. Here you are.
Thanks. Have any trouble with Santa Claus?
Yeah, no, the plan worked great.
Good.
You'll never even be able to tell anybody I was there.
Now, be a good little boy. And I take you in to see Santa Claus, Faraday, and maybe he'll bring you a nice little promotion.
Yeah. Look, he's an off-duty Santa Claus right now.
I know.
According to the Welfare Society, his name is Henry James. How many more flights are there? Only this is a fine way to spend Christmas Eve.
We may spend from now till New Year's working on a murder case, Faraday, if the welfare agency was right. And another guy phoned for information about this same Santa Claus just before we did.
I know.
Oh, finally, here's the door.
Yeah, if he's in the kind of trouble you claim he is, he won't be in any condition to answer the door.
Don't remind me.
You and your theories. You had no right to think he's dead.
I hope I'm wrong. But I'll guarantee you, if he's not dead, he's tied up or unconscious or both.
Well, if you're so smart, you have that all figured out. You ought to be smart enough to know the only way we'll get in is to open the door ourselves.
Brilliant deduction, Inspector.
Yeah, that's all mine.
I'll try the door to see if it's locked.
Blackie, how do you think up such wonderful ideas?
Uh-oh. Somebody's opened it for us.
Oh, sorry to keep you gentlemen waiting so long. I was taking a nap.
Are you Henry James?
Yes?
The Santa Claus on the corner near that jewelry store that was robbed earlier this evening?
Yes, I am.
Well, I'm Boston Blackie, and this is Inspector Faraday of the police.
Oh, how do you do?
How are you?
I saw you catch the thief, Blackie.
You did?
Won't you come in?
Thank you. James.
Yeah?
Did you have a visitor a little while ago?
A visitor?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no visitor.
No one came here and held you up to get back the 4 stolen rings he tossed in your collection?
Why, no, Inspector Faraday. No one's been here. And my collection bucket's right here on the table, it's untouched.
This collection bucket of yours hasn't been touched, James?
Certainly not.
Blackie, according to you, Joe Martin tossed the rings in the Santa Claus collection bucket. This is it.
I know.
According to you, Martin called the Welfare Society and found out where this particular Santa Claus lived.
Somebody asked about Mr. James before I called.
You don't say. But Mr. James says nobody's been here.
Well, he ought to know.
And you ought to know how ridiculous you are. I've looked through this collection bucket, and there are no rings here. Nothing but coins. Santa Claus wasn't held up here. No rings were ever dropped in his bucket out on the street. Blackie, how wrong can a guy get?
Look, Mr. James.
Yeah, Blackie.
Faraday is going back to headquarters because he thinks I'm wrong.
Well, maybe he's right.
But I still say that Martin tossed those rings into your collection bucket.
Believe me, Blackie, the collection is right here. It's untouched.
Yeah.
I was about to take it to the Welfare Society, and as I said before, no one's been here to see me. No one. But you and the inspector.
You're sure you're not playing Santa Claus to Joe Martin?
Working with a thief? I should say not. I don't know why you should think so.
Because when I called the Welfare Society to get your name and address, I was told there'd been another call inquiring about you just a half an hour before.
Is that so?
I think that was Joe Martin calling to find out where he could find you.
Well, no Joe Martin came here, Blackie. In fact, nobody did.
And you've been right here in your room ever since you came back to get out of your Santa Claus suit?
Yeah, Blackie. Every minute, No, wait. I was out for just a minute on the telephone at the end of the hall.
Who was on the phone, and when was this?
Oh, about 20 minutes ago. It was a man at the Welfare Society asked me if I'd collected a lot of money tonight.
Did the man say who he was?
No, just that he was an officer of the society. I wouldn't have known him if he had given his name. I work for the society only at Christmas time.
That's it, then. While you were on the phone talking to Martin or some friend of his, either Martin or an accomplice slipped in here and got back those stolen rings. Isn't that possible?
Well, yes, it is. My back was to the hall while I was on the phone, and the door to this room was partially open.
And thanks to what you've just told me, Mr. James, this case is practically closed. Now, Mary, don't stuff me so full of pillows that I can't stand up.
Blackie, you want to look like a big, fat, jolly Santa Claus, don't you?
Yes, but not like an overstuffed chair.
There. You're well padded and your coat's buttoned up. Now, try on your beard and let's see how you look.
Say, if I get clipped with this thing on my face, you might say my assailant is beating around the bush.
Oh, Blackie.
Well, how do I look?
With your cap on, I'd never know you, and that would be all right with me.
Well, you think that Joe Martin will know me?
Oh, I don't think so. He doesn't know you as well as I do to begin with. I wish you wouldn't try this, though, Blackie.
It's the only thing I can do, since Faraday wouldn't give me any help but Martin's address.
Well, in a way, he can't be blamed for not offering you any help. This isn't a murder case.
That's
and
true.
besides, you've been wrong all along.
According to him, that is.
Well,
Well, young lady, hand me that sack of phony presents, and I'll put this case in the bag.
Faraday, homicide.
Hello, Inspector. This is Mary Wesley.
All right, let's have it, Miss Wesley.
Have what?
Blackie's newest theory on how to make me waste my time.
Blackie's newest plan isn't going to waste any of your time, Inspector. In
That's
fact, you
new.
may not have enough time to get down there and help him.
Get down where?
Well, after you gave him that fellow Martin's address, he got dressed in a Santa Claus suit and went down there alone.
What's he bothering Martin for?
Well,
we haven't got anything on him.
Blackie is positive that Martin retrieved those stolen rings from Santa Claus's collection bucket.
And I'm positive Blackie's positively out of his mind.
Well, anyway, I think you ought to go over to Martin's right away. You know the way Blackie's little schemes sometimes get him into trouble.
This time I hope he gets himself into plenty of trouble.
Well, gee.
Maybe it'll get him out of my hair.
I gotta hand it to you, Clark. That was
Yeah.
a slick trick calling that Santa Claus at his house and keeping him on the phone while I sneaked in and got the rings out of his collection.
It was just luck that it worked. What would we have done, Martin, if we'd taken his collection right down from his corner to the Welfare Society?
Yeah, that would have been just too bad, I guess.
Too bad for you.
Why?
Well, because my boy Abby knows how to use a gun as well as his fists.
Hey, look, you got the rings back, didn't you?
Yeah, sure, over there on the table. I came to your room to be sure I got him back.
Ah.
But Abby's going to be my chief assistant from now on, in charge of guys who make mistakes. Understand?
Okay, I understand. But it's sure gonna be tough working with a guy who can't speak English or understand it.
I don't want him to be easy to work with. If you can't talk to him, you can't get friendly with him. Trigger men shouldn't have friends. They can...
Hey, wait a minute. Who's there?
Santa Claus.
Get rid of him, Martin.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, son. Merry Christmas.
Hey, fatso, beat it.
The same Santa, Martin?
No. Beat it, Mac. You got the wrong house.
Oh, Merry Christmas, my boy. Can you spare a
Beat
little...
it, I said.
Now, wait a minute, Martin. He's collecting for the poor. Let him come in a minute.
Okay. Come on, Santa. Come on in.
Thank you. And a Merry Christmas.
What do you want from us, Santa?
Oh, anything you care to give. Just anything to help make it a Merry Christmas for the poor. Like those 4 diamond rings on the table there.
How about letting me give that beard of yours a touch?
Hey, no.
Hey, it's Boston Blackie.
I thought it was some kind of gag. Watch out, he's going to swing that sack he's carrying.
You'll have to swing it faster than that.
Oh. Good work, Martin. You really flattened him. Now get him up on his feet. I've got a gun on him.
Sure. Oh, come on, Blackie, get up.
Thanks.
Hey, what are you going to do with him? You can't kill him here.
I'm going to turn him over to Abby and let Abby take him for a little walk. Hey, Abby.
This is pretty dangerous, Clark.
Be a whole lot more dangerous if Blackie stays alive. Don't forget he's seen the rings, and I'm wanted for murder out west, and Blackie can describe me.
I sure can.
Hey, Abby. What's the matter with that big hulk? Sanya, Abby. Yele tag jala rof yasada nugula.
Sena.
Okay, Martin, he knows.
Just what kind of language is that?
Quiet, Blackie. All you have to know is that Abby's taking you for a walk with a gun in your back.
Oh, that's pleasant.
Abby Uka.
Come on, Clark. Have Abby get this guy out of here. The cops may not be far behind him.
We better wait until those carol singers outside go away.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. They won't suspect anything. I'll have Abby take them out right now.
But what about those carol singers? They're just outside the house.
I'll tell Abby to keep a gun on Blackie and shoot him if he opens his mouth.
Hey, I got a better idea. Make Blackie sing and keep him singing. Then it'll seem like he's happy going down the street with Abby.
Yeah, good idea.
I'm really not in good voice this evening, gentlemen.
And you won't be in good condition when Abby gets through with you.
Quiet, Martin. Hey, Abby. Sura Retsum, Blackie Lingo. Finestuda. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
All right. Go on, get going. Start singing, Blackie. Go on, start singing.
A command performance, huh? Oh, I didn't know you had such an appreciation for my talent.
So long, Blackie. So long.
So long.
I said keep singing, Blackie. If you stop once more, Abby will shoot.
I won't stop then. So long.
So long, sucker.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Give me help, I can't yelp, but I'm on a spot. Where we'll go, I don't know, but I know I'll be shot.
Say, hear what that guy's saying?
When I passed, jump him fast. Oh, listen to my squawk.
Hey, listen to those
I have
words.
to sing this silly thing, 'cause he'll kill me if I talk.
Hey, I don't think that
What
guy's
you
kidding.
speak to him is Greek. He doesn't know a thing.
Come on, let's jump the guy.
So
Watch out
that's
for
why
gun. He's
I
fired.
just pass you by and let you hear me sing.
All right, now get him.
That's it, fellas. Here, let me at him, fellas. I can take care of him myself now.
Hey, nice punch, mister.
Nice going yourself, fellas. For understanding those words I was singing.
Okay, but at first we thought you were nuts. Hey, here comes a police car.
Hey, Blackie, you all right?
Well, Faraday, you decided to give me some help after all.
Yeah. When Miss Wesley phoned me and said you were going through with your crazy plan, I thought I'd better get down here and keep you out of trouble. Who's the big guy on the sidewalk?
The guy working for Martin and his buddy who was going to give me a one-way ride into the country.
Oh, great.
He's safe here. Let's go into the house and get Martin and his friend. They wanted to go out west.
Yeah, come on. Oh, look. There they go making a break for it.
Yeah. Well, let's break up that break.
Stop, you. Stop in the name of the law.
Watch out, Faraday. They're trying to shoot their way out.
This'll stop him.
Yeah, that made him stop. Come on, let's grab him.
Watch out, Blackie. That guy's got a gun.
You bet I have.
You're not going to get a chance to use it, though, boy. I've got this one. Take care of the other one, Faraday.
Don't tell me what to do.
Okay. Okay, lay off, copper.
No more, Blackie, no more.
Okay, Martin, no more. If you give me those rings.
Clark's got him.
Come on, you, Clark. Let's have him.
Yeah, okay, here they are. Here.
1, 2, 3, 4. They're all there, Faraday.
Good.
And Martin, Clark, and their pal Abby are all yours.
Wow. You take these guys back to my squad car, will you, Blackie? After this chase, I'm tired.
Oh, great, old man.
Yeah.
I go all out to catch these guys, and you're the one who's all in.
More on turkey, Inspector Faraday?
Yeah, a little bit, Miss Wesley.
And Blackie, how about you?
Oh, I'll have more of everything, Mary.
You.
Yeah, if turkey were brain food, I'd say you had plenty of room for it, Blackie.
Now, Inspector, this is Christmas Day. You and Blackie promised not to fight.
Mary, he's still upset because the case we just worked on didn't involve a murder.
You talk as if I like murder, Blackie.
You must like it, Inspector. The way you've murdered that turkey.
Very droll.
You mean very drool, don't you?
Now she's telling me what I mean. This thing must be contagious.
You know, Inspector, I'm glad the stolen rings case wasn't more complicated than it turned out to be.
Yeah, I'm glad we got it solved before Christmas was over.
Me too. Well, Inspector, men generally put a ring on a finger. But because Clark and Martin stole some rings, we put the finger on them. Hello, everybody. This is Dick Calmer. Every week after we finish one of our Boston Blackie shows, I indicate what I hope we'll be doing the following week.
Look, Blackie.
Now, just a second. This time, it's going to be a little different.
Blackie, what's with you? What is going on here?
Just a minute, Faraday, please.
Mm-hmm.
Friends, I said I'm not going to tell you what we will be doing next week.
That's good.
I'm going to tell you what we hope you will be doing.
Very confusing.
Isn't almost everything confusing to you, Inspector? Listen, everybody.
What for?
Now, patience, Faraday, patience. Next week, I hope you and everyone you know and love will be enjoying the best holiday season you ever had.
Yeah, now...
That the next year will be a great year for all of you.
Could I say something, Blackie?
You, Inspector, can say anything, and you probably will.
Well, all I say is Merry Christmas to our listeners, Blackie. Merry Christmas to them all. Well, Genius, how about one of your usual taglines?
And not this time, Faraday. All I say to everybody from Mary Wesley and all our cast is, until our next meetings, season's greetings.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night I know many strange tales, many secrets hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Presently, I'll tell you of nameless terrors of which they dare not speak. Within the human character, the line between good and evil is a thin and waving one. And very often, the one small impulse for good will outweigh and nullify the bad. Such was the case with Michael Cobb. Mike wasn't bad, really. It happened while he was a kid, before he knew any better. He'd gotten into trouble, gone to prison, served a stretch. Now he's out, and he's learned his lesson. He's proving that. He's going straight, working hard at his job in the office of a large department store. He's married to a girl he loves, and he's happy.
Delicious. Oh, nobody can cook a better breakfast than you, darling.
Thank you, sir. Now, Mike, don't bolt your coffee.
I gotta run. I'll be late.
Well, a couple of minutes won't make any difference.
Well, maybe not most days, but today is going to be a big one. The last shopping day before Christmas, you know. Stores will be jammed. We'll be swamped with work until late tonight. Besides, I don't want to spoil my record. 6 months and I haven't been late to work once.
I know. It's fine. I'm sure the store appreciates it.
Yeah, Lane, I think they do, too. I really think they like me down there. You know, like my work and everything.
Oh, sure, Mike. How could they help liking you?
No, I mean, well, I'm beginning to feel like all that stuff is all forgotten. Almost like something that never happened.
It is. It is forgotten, Mike. Everything's different now.
Yeah, it is. Oh, this is going to be a lot different Christmas than the last one, isn't it?
Yes, Mike.
You were wonderful, Elaine. Coming to see me, sticking by me. Oh, darling, I promise you there'll never be another Christmas like that. Never.
I know there won't, Mike. From now on, they're all going to be really Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you bet. Oh, gosh, that reminds me. I haven't got your presents yet. I'll have to run out my lunch hour and find something.
Now, Mike, you're not going to go spending a lot of money on me. Oh, maybe next year we'll be more on our feet.
No, never you mind. I'll get you what I darn please. Oh, my gosh. How I will be late if I don't run.
Hey, here's your hat.
Oh, thanks. Well, goodbye, darling. If I don't get home before midnight, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, it looks like a Merry Christmas for you at last, doesn't it, Mike? For the first time in your life, almost. A real Merry Christmas. You notice the smiles on people's faces as they walk down the street. You get sort of a kick out of the fancy red and green draped windows of the store. The holly smells good in the elevator. And you chuckle as you pass the toy department with a perspiring Santa Claus pulling on his red coat. Then into the office, everybody smiling. Yeah, you know what, Mike? Maybe you're getting that thing they call the Christmas spirit.
Well, morning, George. Merry Christmas.
Hi, Mike. Pretty cheerful this morning, aren't you?
Oh, why not? It's almost Christmas, the day of good cheer. Well, what's the matter with you, sourpuss?
Nuts. Humboldt.
Uh-oh. The boss on the rampage again, huh?
Yeah.
Well, what is it this time?
You haven't heard?
No, what?
Somebody lifted another $1,000 out of the receipts last night.
What, again?
Yeah. It makes about 10 grand that's been missing in the last 6 months.
Well, no wonder Mr. Humboldt's upset.
The detectives are in there with him right now, and they've got old Gus, a night watchman, in for questioning. I suppose we'll all be on the carpet like the last time.
Oh, gee, that's not so good. $10,000. Hey, that's grand larceny.
Yeah, and the cops are probably getting pretty sore about not pinning it on somebody. Now, look, here comes old Gus, fresh from the Inquisition.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Homburg.
Gus. Hey, Gus.
Yeah, Mr. Osborne?
Are they playing questions and answers in there again, Gus?
Yeah. Where was you this time? Where was you that time? The only time I got to sleep when they called me down here for this. What for would I want to steal money for? I got a wife. Fine wife. 4 kids. I steal money, I go to jail. They starve. What for would I steal?
Sure, Gus. But I know why you're so worked up about it.
Yeah?
You probably had to admit where you were last night between 12 and 1 o'clock.
How come you know that, where I was?
Go on. Everybody in the store knows that, Gus. It's a standing joke. Everybody knows you eat your lunch every morning between 12 and 1. They know you go up to the 13th floor and stretch out on one of those divans in the Louis the 15th room, the classiest in the joint.
Okay, so what's wrong with that? I got to eat. Why not in style?
Sure, only for that hour. Anybody could come in and move out the other 12 floors, and you'd never know it.
All right, so what? Maybe that is when somebody stole money. I do not know. I only know I did not steal. And this is the only time I got to sleep when they have to go asking me questions.
What a character.
Hey, is that true about his breakfast from 12 to 1?
Sure. There's a night watchman for you.
That probably explains why they're so sure the thief is somebody inside the store. Somebody who knows about Gus and what time he won't be on this floor.
Yeah, it could be. Uh-oh, that's Humboldt. Yes, Mr. Humboldt. Oh, yes. It's right away, sir. Just as I thought. It's my turn now. Well, if I start screaming, you'll know he's putting me on the rack.
Okay, I'll bring a branding iron to your rescue.
Don't laugh yet. You'll probably be next. If Humboldt really decides to catch a thief, he'll catch one by hook or crook.
Merry Christmas, Mike. Oh, now what's the matter? You don't seem as happy as you were. Something happened to dampen the Christmas spirit, maybe? Something you can't describe, can't even put your finger on? Just a funny, sinking feeling? Forget it. George Osborne has been in and out of Humboldt's office, and almost the whole day has gone by and nothing's happened. And everything seems to have calmed down. In fact, it's George's turn to have the Christmas spirit.
I really didn't expect it this year, but there it was in my pay envelope. Nice and crisp and green. With the best Christmas wishes of the J.C. Deaver's store.
Oh, gee, that's swell, George.
Yeah, real honest-to-gosh Christmas bonus. I can sure use it.
Who couldn't?
I don't know whether you'll get one or not, Mike. You've only been here 6 months. Then maybe. By the way, why don't you mosey in and pick up your pay? It's almost 9 o'clock. We close in 5 minutes.
Well, I guess I better wait for Mr. Humboldt to call me. Golly, I thought we'd get paid earlier. I still haven't bought Elaine's present.
Ah, well, don't worry. Most of the smaller stores will still be open for a couple of hours.
Yeah, sure. But I thought I'd get her something she liked real well in a little store up on 10th Avenue. Oh, well, it'll be open till late.
Say, I wonder if they found out anything about the 10 grand. Boy, they've really questioned everybody around, though.
They didn't question me. In fact, they've never questioned me about it. I don't quite understand that.
Oh, well, I don't know. I guess you got such an honest face or something.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Yes, Mr. Humboldt. Well, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'll send him right in. Well, maybe we spoke too soon. He wants to see you.
Oh?
On the other hand, maybe he just wants to hand you your Christmas bonus in person. After all, you are getting to be the fair-haired boy around here these days.
I better go in.
You might even be in line for a promotion. You can't tell.
Okay. You wanted to see me, Mr. Humboldt?
Yes, Cobb. Sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Cobb, you've been with us 6 months now.
Yes, sir?
And I must admit that in that time you've demonstrated an admirable aptitude for the work.
Thanks, Mr. Humboldt.
Yes, in fact, there's been some discussion of raising your salary, promoting you. I even talked to Mr. Prentice, the manager, about it myself.
Well, thanks, Mr. Humboldt.
Yes, and that's why I regret very much to tell you this. I must inform you that we're forced to dispense with your services as of tonight.
Dispense? You mean I'm fired?
I'm afraid that's it. Yeah, your 2 weeks' pay is in this envelope.
Wait a minute. If I'm been so good, why am I being fired?
I'm not at liberty to offer any explanations. I have my orders just the
It's
same
got
as...
something to do with this missing money, hasn't it?
I told
This
you
is
that
your
it-
way of telling me you think I took it, isn't it?
Now, Cobb,
That's it, isn't it, Mr. Humboldt? You've questioned everyone else in the department. With me, you figure questions are unnecessary, don't you?
Well, since you put it that way, Cobb, naturally we must take into consideration your past.
You knew about my prison record. I told you about it. Would I have told you about it if I was going to steal again?
I'm not accusing you of stealing again. I only say we can't afford to take chances. We simply find it advisable...
All right. I understand. I understand a lot of things now, Mr. Humboldt. Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Humboldt, for the Christmas bonus.
Hey, Mike, wait a minute. Well, did you get it? Did he give you a Christmas bonus?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a Christmas bonus, all right.
Hey, what's up? What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. I'll tell you about it later. I'm leaving now.
Oh, yeah, you're in a hurry. But wait, I almost forgot. With my bonus, I can pay you that $30 I owe you.
Huh?
Here. 10, 20, 30. That ought to help with that present for your wife, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, George. Thanks.
Merry Christmas, Mike. Yeah. That premonition you had this morning was right, wasn't it? That funny, sinking feeling. Now you know, don't you, Mike? You knew it all the time, really. All this past 6 months you've been kidding yourself. The dream bubble has burst. Merry Christmas, Mike. The crowds are still cheerful on the streets. The windows are still bright and gay, and the holly still spices the air. But you don't see or feel or smell. No, there's only the sensation of a chill wind cutting you to the bone as you wander the dark streets, not knowing or caring where you are.
Hello, Michael. Merry Christmas.
Huh? Oh, hello, Reverend Hewitt. I didn't see you.
So I noticed. I was just getting home from my last-minute shopping. Won't you come in for a moment? A cup of tea, perhaps?
Why, no, I...
Oh, come on. I haven't seen you for a long time. That is, for a chat. Besides, it's chilly out. A cup of hot tea will warm you up. You look as if you could stand warming up, Michael. Come in.
No, I've got to get along.
Oh, come now. That lovely wife of yours won't miss you for a few more minutes.
I tell you, I've got to go.
Very well, Michael. I won't keep you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Reverend. I didn't mean to,
Well, I understand, son. You're troubled. Is there anything I can do?
No, I'm all right.
Well, I know you too well, Michael. I've known you all my life. Now, I've helped you before, haven't I? Why?
I don't know. I don't know whether you did or not. All that stuff you told me about turning over a new leaf, forgetting the past, I believed it.
Oh, yes, of course.
Hal, maybe you should have told it to some other people instead of me. It just don't work, Reverend. It just don't work. All that stuff about being good and doing good. It don't pay you off.
It does, Michael. It does. You must believe that. Even a little good done brings a great reward.
Yeah, maybe to some people. Only maybe some of us are behind an 8-ball we can't get around.
Michael, please come in. I feel I must talk to you.
Not tonight, Reverend. But all the talking I can stand. Now I'm going to do my own thinking. And I know what I'm going to do. You can bet your sweet life I know just what I'm going to do.
Yes, your mind is made up now, isn't it, Mike? Humboldt made it up for you, didn't he? You hate him, don't you, Mike? And all the smug people like him who've never done a stretch and stir. They're your enemies, aren't they, Mike? Whether you wanted them to be or not. And you're just one of the cell rats. Okay, if that's the way it is, that's the way you'll play it. What's that? Footsteps following you? Maybe if you stop by this lighted window. Yeah, you were right, Mike. They're following you, all right, 2 of them. You saw them duck into that doorway when you stopped and turned around.
Tailing me. They got dicks tailing me. Why, sure, you dope. They wouldn't let you just walk out of there. They think you took the money. They're going to tail you, hound you, track you down. Okay, if they think I took the money, I'll give them reason to. This time I will take it.
Merry Christmas, Mike. A very Merry Christmas, isn't it? 6 months of going straight and you've given it up. You're going back to the store and get your share of those days' receipts. Yes, it's all so simple, isn't it, Mike? It'll soon be 12 o'clock midnight, and old Gus will be up in the Louis 15th room on the 13th floor. The safe in Humboldt's office will be a cinch. You've seen it many times. And as for the 2 dicks tailing you now, it'll be duck soup to shake 'em. Duck soup. That's right. You're heading up 10th Avenue now. You can double back and... What's wrong, Mike? Why are you stopping? Could it be that tune, the brightly lighted window, the old man standing back there? Of course, now you remember. 10th Avenue. This is old Mr. Samuel's little store. This is it, where you're going to buy Elaine her Christmas present. And there it is. What you heard, the music box, sitting on the counter next to the open door, playing.
Very good
Good evening, Michael, and Merry Christmas.
Hiya, Mr. Samuels.
You came in just in time. I was just about to close up. I guess down at your big store you've been closed for a long time. But here, well, we little fellows have to stay open to get all the business we can. What can I do for you?
Is this the music box that Elaine likes so well?
Ah, yes, that is the one. She was very taken with it. Ah, how her eyes sparkled when she looked at it.
Yeah, there's a powder puff of something inside, isn't
Ah,
it?
that is right. And when you open it, it plays the little tune. So. Yes, she was saying how it was her favorite tune.
Okay. How much is it?
Well, it's usually priced at 75, but I'll give it to you and the young lady for 50.
$50?
Well, yes, you see, it's a genuine antique, and it's the best thing I have in this store.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's more than I figured out.
I'm sorry, too. I would have let you have it for less if I could, but 50 is the lowest.
Sure. Well, okay, forget it.
I'm sorry. Come back again.
Now what's the matter, Mike? Why are you stopping? Could it be you can't make up your mind? Could it be you're thinking about the music box, about Elaine, about Christmas? Yes, this may be your last Christmas with her, you know. Your last chance to give her a decent present with clean money you earned. It might be a nice gesture, eh, Mike? A little token of all that might have been.
Oh, Mr. Samuels, I'll take it. Wrap it up as a gift, and I'll take it.
Merry Christmas, Mike. That's what's written across the package. It was going to be a symbol for a wonderful new life, wasn't it? And now it's an ironic farewell. Your last attempt at doing good, as Reverend Hewitt called it. Too bad it won't bring you that great reward he promised. It won't have a chance, because there are those two dicks still following you. And you're heading for J.C. Deaver's department store, office of Henry Humboldt, and the interior of his safe. It's almost 12 midnight, and you'll have to duck those guys
30
quick.
girls, 30. The greatest little show in town, starring Tootsie Laverne and her 30 raving beauties. A new show just started. Only 40 cents. Ticket, mister.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
40 cents. Thank you, sir. A new show just started. Hurry, ladies and gentlemen. It's the greatest little show in town.
You're doing great, Mike. Those dicks will follow you in, but you won't be there, will you? No. You're heading for that exit sign down at the side. Through the curtains, push out through the door, and there you are. In the alley. And free. Okay. Now, up to the street. Lose yourself in the crowd. Turn down Fifth toward the store. You're okay now. No need to look back. Or is there? They're there. You didn't shake them after all. They were wise to that trick, and they were waiting for you outside the theater. Yes, you should have known. Now what? Maybe you've got an idea. Yes. A good idea. A honey. Why not lead them to the store? Sure, that's where they expect you to go. But beat them there and hide, down in the freight dock, behind one of those big crates. They'll never find you in that mess. Then when they get tired looking, you'll be able to slip in and do the job. How's that? Brilliant. Yes, brilliant. Yes, here's the store. And there they are, a quarter of a block behind. When you hit the alley, you'll run for it. Make a dash back to the back. And you'll be so far ahead then, they won't know whether you got in or not. And you'll fool them entirely. You'll have them searching the whole store. Okay, here it is. Okay, you made it. You left them way behind. Here's the freight dock.
Okay. Come on, coppers. Just try and find me in here.
Found it. Now we've lost him. I told you knew we were following him. Sure. But let's not waste time. We had plenty of time to get in. Probably with his employee's key.
Okay. Get out your skeleton and let's go in after him.
Worked like a charm, didn't it, Mike? You're sitting here in your crate, comfortably waiting, while they search the entire store. They've been there long enough to do it. It's almost 1. If they don't hurry, you'll have Gus to worry about. Not that that's too much of a worry. But wait, hold it.
Well, that does it.
Yeah, too bad. Hey, flash your lighter out. He could have ducked into one of these crates here.
Yeah, but we never find him in that mess. He could play hide and seek with us there for days.
Yeah, you're right. I guess we might as well call it a day. It's a fine way to spend Christmas Eve anyway. Come on, let's go home.
Okay, I'm right beside you.
Well, Mike, Merry Christmas. This is better than you expected. They're leaving, actually going away, leaving the place to your tender mercies. You won't have to dodge them coming out. They aren't going to camp out in Humboldt's office. They're actually walking away, down the alley, and you're set.
Good Lord, the music box. Something's wrong. It's going. I can't stop it. I can't.
Hey, Joe. Joe, listen. Yeah, I hear it. Come on, right over here.
I gotta stop it. I gotta.
Okay, right here. In this crate.
Too late.
Okay, Cobb. We finally cornered you. Come on out.
No use hiding in there now, Cab. Come on. We want to talk to you.
Yeah, I know. I got the idea. Okay. Okay, you got me.
Yeah. Thanks for the music. Led us right to the dance floor.
Yeah, that's the great reward the minister was talking about. Great.
I don't get you.
No, you wouldn't. It's a private little joke on me.
Yeah? Well, that music maybe did you a big favor, Cobb.
Favor?
That's right. Maybe you'll see what I mean if you'll answer a few questions for us.
I don't see why I should.
You got nothing to be afraid of, kid, if you'll just answer a couple of questions straight.
I'll answer one. I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with it.
Okay. You had nothing to do with it. We didn't ask you that question. We'll answer this. You bought that music box at a store on 10th Avenue a while ago, didn't you?
You know I did. You saw me buy it.
And you paid for it with 2 20s and a 10,
yeah.
right? Well, part of that money was marked. It was money that had been stolen from Deaver's department store.
I tell you, it wasn't stolen. That was the dough I got in my pay envelope.
All of it? Didn't somebody else give you part of it?
No, I just earned the whole thing.
Didn't George Osborne give you part of it?
Osborne? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did.
Oh.
He paid me $30 he owed.
Okay. Now, this is very important. How'd Osborne pay you? In what denomination of bills?
Well, Yeah, I remember. He gave me 3 10s.
10s? You're sure?
Sure, I'm sure.
And the 20s came to you in your pay envelope, huh?
Yeah.
You'll swear to that in court?
Of course.
Okay. That does it. Thanks, Cobb.
Hey, wait. You mean that's all you wanted me for?
It was enough. You just proved for us who stole that 10 grand from the store. And the way you were acting, we'd almost thought it was you. We hadn't have known better all the time.
Well, quite surprising, isn't it? The police didn't suspect Mike at all. You see, it was this way. Because of his record, the cops began to tail Mike in the very beginning, when the money first began to be missed. Twice they had him under observation at the very time the money was stolen, so they knew he didn't do it. But they kept watching him in the hope he would lead them to the real thief, and he did. Yes, because when things got hot, the thief finally tried to frame Mike by giving him some of the stolen money. Marked money this time. George Osborne? Oh, no. In fact, Osborne almost gummed things up by paying his debts. The detectives hadn't counted on that. That's why they had to be sure which bills Osborne gave Mike. The 10s weren't marked, the 20s were. The 20s Mike got in his pay envelope from Humboldt. Yes, Henry Humboldt, the office manager. You see, things were getting too hot for him. The trail was getting too close. He knew the money was marked, and he knew the detectives were watching Mike. So he gave him some of the marked bills in his severance pay, trying to frame him. It couldn't have worked, of course, but Humboldt didn't know that, and neither did Mike. And Mike almost did something he'd have regretted all his life. He almost went back to a life of crime. Yes, if the music box hadn't have jammed and started playing just when it did, and the detectives had gone off, Mike's life would have gone down the skids. Because it did play when it did. Well, next week he'll be back at the store in a better job. Yes, and he got a Christmas bonus, too. They saw to that after Humboldt was arrested. And all because the music box played. Maybe that's why Mike said,
No, sir. That music box sits right there on the table where everybody can see it.
Darling, I really think it means as much to you as it does to me.
Oh, I guess maybe it does, Elaine. Just like the Reverend Hewitt says, a little good brings a great reward. Yeah, for the rest of my life, that little gadget's going to mean a Merry Christmas. Darling, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mike.
The Signal Oil program, produced by George W. Allen, with music by Wilbur Hatch, is transmitted to our troops overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service. Bob Anderson speaking for your friend, the Signal Oil Company, and suggesting once again that you let every go signal remind you that you do go farther with Signal gasoline. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Personal notice. Danger's my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you've got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details. Let George do it.
Tonight's story, Christmas Letter, a transcribed adventure of George Valentine.
You know, darling, we're much better than we were last year.
Yep, someday we may actually become mediocre. Any more of those silver thingamajigs? This branch looks kind of gone.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, here we are.
Ah, good. That's better.
Anytime you're ready for the big star, let me know.
Uh-huh. Hey, those letters you picked up in the office this afternoon.
Now, George.
Well, I was just wondering if there could have been anything important in them, that's
We
all.
decided not to open any mail until after Christmas, and so I'm
Well,
not...
I was just wondering.
Of course, I did wonder about the one from Japan.
What?
The return address reads Private First Class Dan Ferris, and his number was...
Oh, Angel, surely someone writing to me all the way from Japan can't possibly get me out of your apartment on Christmas Eve.
Well...
And a letter from a soldier.
All right. Here it is.
Let's see. Dear Mr. Valentine, I remember reading your ad in the paper when I was still back home and knowing you're an ex-GI. I think you might want to help me because I sure do have a job that's too tough to handle. In fact, from this distance, it's impossible. So here's something I would like you to do for me on Christmas Eve.
Oh, no, don't read any farther, George.
Enclosed, fine $20. It's to cover the expenses of taking out the most beautiful girl in the world.
What's that?
Buying her an eggnog or two, listening to some Christmas carols. You get the idea. Anyway, her name is Lucy Rand, and she lives
Darling,
at
please, don't read any farther.
the enclosed address. You'll be doing me a big favor if you'll be my proxy this Christmas Eve and write me all about it. Very truly yours, Dan Red Ferris. Well,
Proxy.
well, a boy who's obviously pretty lonely
Yes, but I thought we were going to
on
spend...
Christmas Eve.
Come on, stop talking so much.
Oh, no, hey, wait a minute. Not you, me. Red said I should take out his...
We're going. Christmas spirit is fine, up to a point. But that does not include a date with the most beautiful girl in the world.
The apartment house is down the block.
You know, George, about that letter, I have a notion our friend Red is really slightly suspicious about his girlfriend's, well, boyfriend.
Yeah, such an idea has been known to occur to guys who are 6,000 miles away from home.
Well, the girl is probably set to spend this evening with her family, and all we'll really do is dismiss...
Excuse me, folks.
Yeah?
I'm sorry to bother you, but well, that is, we, the missus and I, have had it pretty tough this year. And she's a wonderful cook. Like right here, you see?
What's that?
It's a Christmas pudding, miss. The missus makes the best in the world.
Oh, look, I'm afraid we're on a diet. But if this'll help...
Oh, no, sir. This is a very fine pudding, and for only $2.
George, I guess at dinner tomorrow we could.
Yeah, well, I suppose so. Just a minute. Here.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey.
George, he's running away.
Pudding and all. Hey, wait, you! Okay, wise guy.
Let go of me.
All right, now, hand me back that money.
No.
And this wonderful Christmas pudding your wife made. Give.
No.
I said give you.
That's a pudding?
Well, it's a brick, miss. A plain, ordinary brick wrapped in some Christmas paper.
Why, you crooked little...
I have no wife. I have nothing. And I don't care if you call the cops and they put me in jail. At least I get a good meal there. They give turkey and trimmings on Christmas.
Oh.
So put me in jail. But go ahead, I dare. Put me...
Oh, never mind. Keep the money and keep the brick. But you go on with this fancy shuffle and you'll end up in jail, all right.
Oh, well, gee, thank you, mister. Thanks a lot. And Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, Brooksy, let's get going and play Cupid so we can get back to that tree.
Well, thanks very much, Mr. Valentine, but I already have a date for this evening.
So you said.
This boy, Red, he has no hold on me, you know. Not at all, Miss Brooks.
Well, the only thing we know, Lucy, is what he wrote us in that letter.
Well, I don't even know why I started writing to him. One of those silly things. A friend of a friend of a friend of mine is engaged to a boy in Red's outfit, and she said boys need cheering up. So I wrote to him. He's nice and sounds like fun, but that's all.
Yeah, well, Red must have taken some things for granted, I guess.
Well, he'll just have to get over it. After all, I didn't make him think I cared.
I see.
And as for tonight, I'm perfectly all right. I'm in good hands. Walter Denning is a perfect gentleman.
Walter Denning?
You make it sound like a naughty word.
Do you know him, George?
Slightly. He's in the neighborhood. Tall, handsome boy, sharp with a buck.
Why, he's not.
Wolf by avocation and vocation and inclination.
Stop that.
Small-time impresario. How's his big girly act coming along? Denning's Delectables, isn't it? Playing at the Blue Grotto?
He's doing very well, thank you. I've had a very busy day. Selling in a department store on the day before Christmas is wonderful for a girl's feet. So if you don't mind...
See this record here on the Victrola.
It's nothing.
The label says made at the YMCA Tokyo, Japan.
Something Red sent you?
But yes, it came today. A Christmas card, sort of. You can hear it if you want. There's nothing too personal in it.
I'll do it, George.
Hello, Lucy. I don't really know what to say into this thing. I guess pretty soon it's going to be Christmas. But here it isn't very much. So a fella gets to do a lot of thinking and hoping, remembering. When I do that, I keep thinking mostly of the things you wrote me in your letters. I really don't even know what you look like, but I can imagine. And what I imagine is, well, when you listen to some Christmas music or see a guy in a funny red suit ringing a little bell in the street, I hope you'll think of me. Well, I'm running out of time, and so...
I guess he overran his time.
Yeah. Well, come on, Angel. Lucy, I didn't mean to shoot my mouth off about this Denning guy.
I know. That's what people may think of him, but he's in love with me. He's sincerely in love with me. Are you sure, Lucy? Wait a minute. Here. Take a look at this.
Engagement ring.
Walter gave it to me a week ago.
I noticed you're not wearing it.
Well, I told him I wasn't quite sure of how I felt. He wanted me to take the ring and wait, so I'm to give him my answer tonight.
And?
Well, he's waiting for a divorce, so he isn't free to marry me yet, but he will be in a month or so. He's taking his troupe on a road tour the day after tomorrow, and he wants to give me a job and let me go along. He says he can make a dancer out of me, and then we can be together in the meantime.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a beautiful diamond.
Yes, isn't it? Walter really has been sweet to me, honest with me. Do you understand?
Sure.
Thanks a lot for taking the trouble to come here on Christmas Eve, but really I'm quite all right, and there's nothing to be done about Red.
Good luck, Lucy.
Thanks. And goodbye.
Uh-oh. Hi there, Denny.
What? Oh.
Now watch this. Never would pass up a free drink. Say, how about having a drink with us?
Valentine, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, and this is Miss Brooks, my assistant.
Miss Brooks? Well, how charming.
I want you to join us at the bar.
Only if you'll be my guest. I never knew Valentine had such a beautiful associate.
Well, thank you.
Yourself.
Perhaps someday I might give you a call and we could have a talk.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah. Say, how you been doing with the horses lately, Walter?
Oh, I haven't been playing the horses. Gave them up.
I see.
A beautiful girl like you, Miss Brooks, should be able to wield a great power over the life of any man.
I should?
Any man who isn't absolutely blind.
Your line is still pretty smooth, friend.
Line? Oh, no. It's just that I guess I'm sentimental. I'd like to play Cupid.
Cupid?
Yes, you see, I'm in love. Practically engaged to a lovely girl.
Oh, really?
Yes, you don't know her, but she's wonderful. Lucy. Isn't that a lovely name?
Yes, indeed.
So I want everyone to be in love and happy. Now, tell me, Miss Brooks, doesn't this guy Valentine ever notice you? All right, now what do we have to drink?
Well, I think we'll skip it, if you don't mind, Miss Brooks.
No.
But I thought
Some other time, huh?
All right. As a matter of fact, I was leaving to see Lucy. Did you want to speak to me about anything?
No, I guess not. So long.
Goodbye, and Merry Christmas.
So you owe it to Red to prove to yourself Walter Denning is still no
Oh, well, guys like that don't change. Not even when they fall in love.
good. He's penny pinching. So he wants to buy us a drink.
I'm hard to convince.
He gambles and he's a wolf and no pretty girl is safe with him. So he wants to play Cupid for another night.
All right, okay, I heard him.
George, I know it's tough on Red, and maybe you don't like the idea. But I think we just have to forget all this.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, let's go back to my place and finish decorating the tree, huh?
Well, lights are all set.
Wait a minute, I'll turn them on. Oh, aren't they beautiful?
Yeah. The whole room is so peaceful.
Darling.
Christmas Eve. Frankly, I'm glad all the excitement is over.
Yes, so am I.
Did I speak too soon?
Let's just keep quiet and they'll go away.
Oh, no. We'd better do something about this. Oh. Yes, officer?
Valentine? Your name's George Valentine?
Yeah, that's right. Won't you come in?
What is it, George?
Just a minute, Brooks.
I hate to do this on Christmas Eve. The tree looks real pretty in there, too. There's a warrant out for your arrest, Mr. Valentine.
Arrest?
There must be some mistake.
What for?
Now, take it easy. How should I know what for? There's a warrant, all right. Sworn out by somebody named Lucy Rand.
Sorry. Is that all you're going to keep on saying, Lucy?
Well, I feel so terrible about this.
Well, that's a variation, at least.
Well, why on earth would I steal your engagement ring?
But don't you see? I didn't know who you were. Not really. I thought coming here with a letter from Red was just a trick, and I did show you the ring, and then it was
Oh,
gone.
now, look.
now that the police told me you're all right,
Look, Lucy, I realize that the ring must be an expensive one, and you were upset, but I still
No,
don't...
it's not that. But you see, I'm supposed to give my answer to Walter tonight, and I don't want to be influenced because I don't have his ring.
You mean you have some doubt about what you should say to Walter? Hooray for our side.
Well, I didn't say that.
Uh-huh.
Now, George, stop it. Walter Denning seems to be a perfectly charming man.
He is. I know he is. But...
Hearing from Red and the record he sent you, that didn't make you doubt your decision a little, did it?
Oh, of all the silly... I can't face Walter and tell him his ring has been stolen.
Now, dear Mr. Valentine will do whatever he can, but after all, it's nothing that can be accomplished in a minute.
You sure it isn't just mislaid, Lucy?
No, it isn't. After I showed you the ring, I put it down a minute, and then the phone rang. It's out in the hall, you know, and I went to answer it. Oh, the ironic part of it is that it was a wrong number. And then when I came back, the ring was gone.
Uh-huh. From where you were at the phone, you couldn't see who went into your room.
No.
So it might have been anyone here in the apartment house.
Yes, but, well, they're my neighbors. Good, respectable people, and it's Christmas Eve. And why?
Okay. I'll see what I can do. Take it easy.
Oh, dear. This is probably Walter.
Well, there's nothing you can do but let him in.
I suppose so.
Will our friend Mr. Denning be surprised to see us here?
Lucy is not really sure of her feelings toward that guy. Maybe if he finds out about the ring and acts the way I think he will.
Now, George, playing Cupid for Red is one thing, but trying...
Walter, these are some friends of mine. Miss Brooks and Mr. Valentine.
Why, hello again.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you knew each other. Say, let's all of us get dressed up and go out and celebrate Christmas in real style. A good idea?
Well, Walter...
Yeah, well, that sounds fine, but I'm afraid I won't be able to join. After all, if I'm to look for that ring of yours,
Mr.
Lucy...
Valentine.
Ring? What's he talking about, Lucy?
George, I could wring your neck.
Well, I'm sorry, Lucy, but I don't think you can keep that a secret from Walter anyway. After all, it'll take days, weeks, if the ring will ever be found.
Well, I'm so terribly sorry, Walter. The ring, that beautiful ring you gave me, it must have been stolen. I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything, darling.
But the ring, I know how much it must have cost you, and I...
Do you think it's really important to either of us? Well, I don't want anything in the world to make you unhappy for 1 minute.
Oh, Walter.
You're more important to me than all the rings in the world. So, come on, snap out of it, honey.
You mean that, don't you?
Of course I do.
Oh, go home and dress up, darling, and pick me up later. We're going right out and celebrate our engagement, with or without a ring.
What?
Darling.
Oh,
I still wish you folks would join the party.
No, thanks. Come on, Brooksy.
Coming, Cupid? But, George, the way he acted was so sweet. Not a peep out of him. Any girl would melt at such a sign of devotion.
Yeah. And I thought he'd yell like a stuck pig.
Let's get out of here. Go back to my apartment and finish decorating the tree.
You know, that's beginning to sound like a chorus of a song. Let's go back and decorate the tree. Well, I suppose that's all we can.
What is it?
Look, in that corner. The neatly wrapped Christmas pudding.
Somebody in this house must have bought it and then threw it away.
Could be, but it's still unwrapped. So maybe our little salesman came here to sell it, threw it away himself when he got something that would bring him more money than 1,000 puddings.
The ring. He must have stolen Lucy's ring.
Uh-huh. He was headed for jail. If he isn't in jail already, maybe we can get the ring back in a hurry. And maybe if we do, it might still keep Lucy from being too grateful for Walter's understanding.
George, he isn't in jail.
Are you sure, Angel?
I asked Lieutenant Johnson to help, and he checked.
It looks more and more like Shorty, huh?
No luck with the neighborhood pawn shop?
Now they're closed. But a bartender tells me there's one on VC Street that's not only open all the time, but isn't careful of what it buys. See you later. South. That should be right down here. Gonna sell a Christmas pudding in that pawn shop, friend?
Yeah, but...
Remember me, Shorty?
Yes, I think so. Excuse me, I'm in a hurry.
You wouldn't want to be impolite and leave me, would you, Buster?
Let me go.
You want to turn something over to me, friend? Something that you don't want to weigh on your conscience?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I said wait. Let's get into this doorway.
No.
I said move you. Come on now.
Well, my goodness. What kind of goings-on are these?
All right, it's all right, madam. My friend here had an eggnog too many.
I don't have anything now, honest. Please let me go.
Hold still while I make sure for myself.
Give me that.
Oh, no, you don't. Well, no doubt Santa Claus gave you this ring because you've been a good boy all year.
What are you going to do with me, mister?
We're going to take a walk together.
Oh, no, please.
Come on.
Will you have it back now? You can just let me go, huh?
You wanted to go to jail. You're going to get your wish.
Yeah, but they'll throw the book at me with this. I just saw the door open and the ring was on the table. I'm no criminal, mister.
Uh-huh.
Oh, mister, it's the holiday season.
So I see.
People still out buying Christmas trees over there. Oh, you can be nice to a fella. I can't go there. I'm sorry, mister.
Hey, you, stop! Oh, he would run in there. All those trees.
Evening, Mac. Like something in a silver tip?
No, Buster.
Half price, Mac. I got some of the nicest Douglas.
I said I'll see you later.
Hey, look out. You knocked down a tree.
Oh, this is great. Try and find him in here. It's a regular forest. Maybe through here. Or maybe... So there you are.
Hey, mister, please.
Can't somebody turn that thing off?
Oh, gosh, Mac. I thought you'd never come out of it.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah, that fella must have been hiding in the trees, and he stole my wrench.
Wrench?
Yeah, I was fixing my truck when all this started. Had a wrench laying on the top of the cab.
Let me sit up. There. Now, wait.
Huh?
All right. Guess I didn't really expect to find it.
What are you talking about?
Oh, a charmed circle, a lover's vow, a maiden's dream.
Hey, you ought to find yourself a doc right away.
Oh, no, thanks. I got to give the police a description of a pudding salesman.
But, Mr. Valentine, what makes you think that the police will catch up with him tonight?
Well, of course, I'm not sure they will, but I gave him a pretty good description.
Well, I'm sure the police don't need our help, Valentine. Besides, Lucy and I have a table waiting for us at the club.
Anyway, it doesn't matter now, just when we get the ring back. Now that I'm sure. But I am sure, Mr. Valentine.
Yeah, you said that before.
I'll get the tickets tomorrow, Lucy. It'll be a wonderful tour. And you'll be wonderful in the show, darling.
Yeah. Everything will be wonderful. You won't forget to write to Red, eh, Lucy?
Oh, no. No, I won't forget, and he'll understand. I know he will. Oh, George, Mr. Heller said he'd be here in a little while. Mr. Heller?
Just a friend. Now sit down, all of you. We're going to wait for this.
Just get up and I'll stop arguing before I lose my temper. Christmas Eve or no Christmas Eve.
And I tell you, officer, I didn't slug that guy.
Shorty.
Well, it seems to me we're in luck.
Well. Look who's here.
This is wonderful, officer.
Come on, get in there, Shep. He says his name's Shep Gilson.
Now, welcome home, Shep.
I didn't hit you, Mr. Valentine. I just kept on running. And I haven't got that ring. You searched the officer, didn't you?
Yeah. The ring wasn't on him, Mr. Valentine. But he had plenty of time to stash it away somewhere.
That's what probably happened.
Yeah, we'll have a little talk with him down at the station house. And we'll let you know, Miss Rand.
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, in just a minute, officer.
Huh?
I'd like to talk to you and Mr. Denning a moment, if I could, out in the hall.
Oh, sure.
Oh, we'll leave the door open. The ladies will be all right with Shorty.
What's on your mind, Valentine?
A few things.
Yeah? Things like what?
Like, would Shep, who's small and kind of puny, really be the one who slugged me?
Well, it doesn't take much to swing a heavy wrench.
Yeah, but it was lying on top of the cab of that truck. Shep would be too short even to see it up there.
I don't understand.
And another thing. Shep knew he was facing a long prison term. Now, would he take a chance on knocking me down to get that ring again? It's kind of giving yourself mighty short odds.
What are you driving at?
The fact that I felt there was something very fishy when you didn't act human, Walter.
Human?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when I told you about the ring being stolen. No matter how much in love a guy is, he'd still react normally, be shocked or angry. Anything except the perfect gentleman with a noble speech.
Oh, now, look
Unless
here,
there's a
my dear
reason.
fellow. Wait a minute, Valentine. You mean...
Yeah, you followed me ever since I left Lucy, didn't you, Walter? This may be taking another long shot, but you don't mind if we look through your pockets, do you, handsome?
I certainly do, and I'd like to see you...
This is just my night for not taking cares, Buster.
Now, wait a minute, Valentine. Wait a minute, or I'll run you in for assault and
You
battery.
keep out of this, will you?
Now, cut it
Okay,
out.
Walter, okay. Shall we play some more?
No, let go. Stop. Stop that. The ring.
Yeah.
Walter, what's been going on out here?
I'm afraid you ladies are in time just for the finish. Are you leaving us, Walter?
What?
Or do you want to stick around?
Well, Valentine...
What does he mean?
You don't mind if I keep the ring, do you? Just as a souvenir?
Well, yes. Yes, of course.
Walter, will somebody tell me what this is all about?
That's what I want to know.
Walter, please. Where are you going?
I'm sorry, Lucy. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
But Walter!
Okay, Lucy. Now, look, Mr. Heller is a jeweler, a friend of mine, an expert. I was hoping we'd have this ring to show him.
But why would Walter do all that just to get his ring back? Why was he so embarrassed? Why would he... Oh,
Get the idea?
phony. That's what it is, isn't it? The ring, the talk of engagement.
Walter just got caught with his real intentions showing, that's all. Phony diamond, phony proposal, phony character.
Yes, I was such a fool, Mr. Valentine. Now, you'll be all right. Everything will be all right.
Yeah, you ought to call it a swell Christmas present, miss.
Yeah, but what about me? What am I going to do with a long rap staring me in the face?
Oh, why, Shep, I'm surprised at you. If this ring is worth only a few dollars, you didn't commit very much of a crime now, did you?
What? Oh, hey.
Yeah, sure. You might even get just what you wanted from the judge. Just long enough in jail to see you through the holidays. Free turkey, remember? Maybe it's not such a bad Christmas all around.
I never made one of those records before.
Oh, it's very simple. Here, you just go in one of those booths.
Then you draw the curtains, and you're alone with the one who's going to hear what you have to say.
No, I want you and Miss Brooks to hear this.
Well,
I really do.
Okay. Anytime you want to start.
Dear Red, I don't really know what to say into this thing, but, well, maybe this was kind of a sudden idea. It's almost midnight. Christmas is almost here. Anyway, what I mean is, I've always thought that Santa Claus was a pretty old fellow with white whiskers and a big stomach. He isn't at all. He's a much younger man, and he has no beard. Tomorrow, Red, I'm going to send you a long letter.
Come here, Angel.
yes, George.
There's so much I want to say to you.
And here we go again. Back to decorate the tree.
Yes, sir. Hey, you know, back in that tree lot, I picked up the one thing we need. See?
Mistletoe. Why, George.
Merry Christmas, everybody. This is John Heaston, and right now I'd like to introduce a friend of yours, George Valentine, but by his real name, Bob Bailey.
Well, this is our 5th Christmas together with you. And once again this year, speaking for myself and for everyone in our cast, we'd like to wish you the nicest, happiest Christmas ever.
Yes, friends, and to that, I'd like to add this message, that this be a very Merry Christmas for you and yours, and that the true spirit of Christmas, peace on earth, will come to pass for all men all over the world.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Broadway's my beat. From Times Square to Columbus Circle, the gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world.
Broadway's My Beat, with Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover.
Broadway. On Christmas Eve, Broadway's natives dance their Christmas dance to the music of carols flowing out of tinseled loudspeakers. The kids mash their noses against plate glass, lick it, and watch the mechanical clown, the mechanized tour army, the tin man dancing a jig on a tin box. And their eyes are dark with desire and hunger. They make a wish on a neon star. That's how it is on Christmas Eve on Broadway. My beat. On the morning of the day before Christmas, creatures are stirring at police headquarters. There's the patter of tired feet and the sound of manly giggles as little gifts are hidden in desk drawers or poured into Dixie cups or slipped under the police blotter. And in my office, there's a kid I knew, name of Marty Wednick.
Danny, I don't like to disturb you at this unmentionable hour.
At 10 o'clock in the morning, unmentionable?
You kidding? Sleep has not yet fled from my starry eyes. What makes me bounce from my pillow at an hour which is for the squares is a problem.
What's your problem, Marty?
Am I or am I not the child president of your branch of the Police Athletic League?
You are?
So I promised my constituency of fellow former delinquents a Santa Claus for Christmas. That's the problem. When are you going to give with a Santa Claus? Don't laugh, Danny. A former delinquent shouldn't be disillusioned. Could make him a neurotic. So I repeat, on behalf of my constituents, where is Santa Claus?
Oh, he'll be here in a minute, Marty. Sergeant Tartaglia... Oh, here he is. Come on in, Sergeant.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what
This
fun.
guy's a sergeant?
Huh?
Hey, Tartaglia, this is Marty Wednick. He wants Santa Claus.
Oh, he's coming, Danny, he's coming. Come on in, Sandy. Everybody, make way, everybody, for Santa Claus.
And what's your alias, name, little boy? Ho, ho, ha. Hey.
This guy's a Santa Claus.
Who's the kid? The punk, Danny. Who is he?
Marty Wednick, that's who I am. So you're Santa Claus, huh? Audition me something.
What? Why, you crummy
Take
little...
your hands off me, Santa Claus. Is this the Christmas spirit?
I'll give it to you in the mouth, fresh kid.
You and how many
Hey,
reindeers?
now, wait a minute, you two. Marty, this is Nick Norman.
Nick Norman, the ex-con?
How do you like this monster? For 15 years, I've been playing Santa Claus at Sing Sing with no complaints, mind you. The first day I am a free civilian playing me old part, the squirt gives me the hook. I resigned from Santa Claus. I didn't get treatment like this even from the guards.
Take it easy, Nick. Marty didn't mean it. Did you, Marty?
How was I to know that Santa Claus here was the world-famous light-fingered safecracker?
Ex-light-fingered, world-famous safecracker, you.
Well, does he meet with your approval, Marty?
Well, the costume is sloppy, the beard's moth-eaten, but yeah, he'll do.
Don't do me no favors, punk.
You want to know something, Nick?
What's something?
I like you. I think you are the best Santa Claus it has ever been my privilege to present to my constituents of the PAL. This is from the heart, Nick.
Oh, that's better. You gotta show respect for Santa Claus. What time's your party?
8 o'clock tonight. You'll be there?
I'll be there.
Well, so long, Danny, Sergeant, Santa Claus. See you at the party. Merry Christmas.
That's a good kid. Appreciates the finer things.
Feels good to be out, huh, Nick?
15 years is a long night without sleep, Danny. Yeah, feels good. And thanks for the job of Santa Claus. I would miss it after all these years.
The deal we made. That feels good, too, huh?
Oh, yeah, the deal. Sure, Danny. I'll keep my promise to you.
That's good. You won't forget what happened 15 years ago on Christmas Eve.
How can I forget? It was like today. I was all dressed up like Santa Claus. I had a few idle hours, and right in front of me there just happened to be an idle safe. So I cracked it. So I got caught.
Uh-huh. Now, what are you going to do now, between now and 8 o'clock, the time the party starts?
Walk the thoroughfares and wish everybody joyous tidings and pat kids on the head.
And leave their mothers' purses alone.
Oh, Danny, how can you talk to Santa Claus that way? I promised you that...
Sure you did. Hey, Tartaglia.
Yeah, Danny.
Tag along with Santa Claus. Fresh air will do you both good.
Oh, gee, thanks, Danny, thanks. You know, the fresh air will do us both good.
Yeah, but hold his hand, Tartaglia, so he won't get lost. We don't want him to get lost, do we?
Oh, no, Danny.
No, because what's Christmas without Santa Claus? Have fun, boys. So everybody was happy, and that was good because it was the season for it. Sergeant Tartaglia was happy because I had not only given him permission to leave the room, I'd told him to go out and take a walk with Santa Claus. And everyone knows that Santa Claus is always happy, even if once upon a time he had to spread his glad tidings around Sing Sing. I considered it a while, and then I decided to inhale the bloom of Christmas as it filtered through police headquarters. And it made me feel happy, too. It lasted for 2 inhales.
The sign on the door says Lieutenant Danny Clover. I don't believe in signs. What's your name?
What's yours?
I came prepared for a question like that. Here's my card.
Thanks. Simon Larrabee, real estate and rentals. You renting something, Mr. Larrabee?
That would give you the upper hand. 2 questions to my 1. And you haven't answered it yet.
Danny Clover, like the sign says. That's my name.
You're quite right. I am renting something.
Go ahead. Rent away. I like to watch.
I'm doing it now. Just looking at you. I'm renting that property known as the Warehouse at 2290 East Grand Street.
Well, if it makes you happy... Wait a minute. That's our clubhouse. That's where the kids are having our Christmas party.
Are you?
What's the...
What else can it be? Where's the rent?
Rent for what?
Rent for that property known as the Warehouse at 2290 East Grand Street.
You mean it hasn't been paid? How much is it?
It's $62.50 a month. Oh, that includes utilities.
I'll pay it. The club's treasurer will reimburse me.
You don't understand, Mr. Clover. When I rent something, I get a year's rent in advance. That comes to $750. And I want it before there's any party there.
Are you kidding? Where are those kids going to get money like that?
Oh, well, I'll give you until 8 o'clock to get the money, and I'll just sit right here until then.
All right. Grab yourself a police gazette.
Never touch the stuff.
Suit yourself. Oh, excuse me, Simon. Danny Clover speaking.
Danny, this is Patrolman Curcio.
Yeah, what is it? I can hardly hear you, Curcio.
Yeah, well, no wonder. Listen what I gotta talk through. Listen, Danny. Hey, you see what I mean?
Why the sirens? What's the trouble?
Sergeant Tartaglia is up a tree.
What?
Sergeant Tartaglia is in a tree on the Avenue 8 playground, Danny. He flipped his lid. He's telling anyone that'll listen that there ain't no Santa Claus. Hey, you better come on down, Danny.
When I got down to the Avenue A playground, it was having the Christmas party of its life. A 30-foot tree complete with tinsel, candy canes, colored popcorn balls, firemen, and a scared sergeant policeman, forlorn and lost, pinned to its top branch. The fire department finally convinced Tartaglia that a ladder was a safe invention for getting down out of tall trees. At the bottom rung, he almost believed it. When his feet touched the ground, they gave him a blanket because he was suffering from shock. He was about to tell the newsreel boys his ordeal when I faced him.
Oh, Danny, I was about to tell the newsreel boys my ordeal.
Oh, just tell me first, Tartaglia, because I hardly ever get to the movies.
I'll be with you in just a minute, sir. Oh, Danny, it was awful. It was something awful.
I only ask this because there's so much about you I don't know, Tartaglia. Why do you climb trees?
Oh, I don't, Danny. The height scares me. When I was a child, a tree threw me on the ground.
Still, you climbed this tree. Why?
Oh, because I'm a policeman.
That makes sense. But how?
Well, sure it does, Danny. The kids see me, I am a policeman. They need to put a star on top of their Christmas tree. They ask me because I am a policeman and can do such things. I couldn't let the department down, Danny.
So you leave Nick Norman alone, all by himself, because you don't want to let the department down.
Oh, I knew you would say that. But I trusted Nick because he is Santa Claus. He told me I could trust him.
Sure you can, Tartaglia. But what happened to Santa Claus? He's not around.
That's right. There ain't no Santa Claus, like I've been saying.
They told me you were saying that. What happened to him, Tartaglia?
Well, Danny, whilst I was up in the tree pinning the star, below me I saw a big black bulletproof sedan.
What kind?
A big black bulletproof sedan.
Now I know. Then what happened?
Well, this big black bulletproof sedan stopped by Nick, our Santa Claus. 2 men got out, talked to him for a minute, then took him one by each arm, deposited him in the car, closed the door, and away they sped, careening on 2 wheels. I yelled to them to stop, Danny. But I guess they didn't hear me on account of the hustle and bustle.
Our Santa Claus, Tartaglia. Where is he? Where'd he go?
Well, if I was Santa Claus, I know where I'd go.
Not that it matters, but where?
Well, to my mother. On Christmas Eve, she deserves something like that.
I'm sure she does.
We have you now, Sergeant Tartaglia.
Oh, make good in the newsreels, Tartaglia. This may be your big chance.
Yeah?
Are you Mrs. Norman?
Why?
I'm Danny Clover.
Yeah?
May I come in, Mrs. Norman?
Why?
I want to talk to you.
About what?
About Nick, about your son.
Come in.
Thanks.
In here, in the parlor. Sit down.
Thank you.
No, not on that seat, that one. What do you want to talk about Nick?
Do you know where he is?
No, you don't tell me no more. One day when he was 9 years old, Nick said to me, he said, Ma, don't ask me where I've been no more, 'cause I'll lie to you. That's what he said.
Then you don't know where he is.
Don't make me go through that again, Sonny. Say, who are you to ask me questions?
I told you I was...
Yeah, you did. You said you're Danny Clover. That don't mean nothing to me. Oh, you must be the guy come about,
I am. That's why I came.
Well, you tell me what you come here for.
For, you know, just as you said.
Oh, this I like. This lets me play cagey like in the old days. What are you talking about?
You know your son, Nick.
You gotta squirm more than that, kiddo. What about Nick?
We want him to be our Santa Claus.
Bingo.
That's good.
Oh, it must be a good feeling, a young man like you. Big, strong, looking for Santa Claus. Me? I just sat here in my rocking chair.
Mrs. Norman.
Thinking about the times we had, me and Big Ed, my husband. The time...
I have to go now, Mrs. Norman. Where's your son?
Oh, you made me go through it again. One day, when he was 9 years old, Nick said to me...
Yeah, well, thanks,
Ma,
Mrs. Norman.
don't ask me where I've been.
Hi, Danny. Did you find Santa Claus?
No, Tartaglia. What are you doing about it?
Me? Nothing.
That's good. Anyone to see me?
Yeah, in your office. Hey, Danny, what are you angry at me for, huh, Danny?
Hey, Danny, what's this I hear about Santa Claus taking a powder?
You'll get your Santa Claus, Marty. You still here, Simon Larrabee?
Yes, I'm waiting. Just as I told you, I'm waiting for my $750 rent.
Can you imagine this gonif, Danny? On Christmas Eve, he wants his rent. This is a Christmas, no Santa Claus, no party. What am I going to tell my constituents?
It'll work out, Marty. We'll get the money someplace.
By 8 o'clock, Mr. Clover.
Oh, shut up, Simon.
But, Danny, no Santa Claus.
Hold it, everybody. I got the solution. Communications, this is Sergeant Tartaglia in Danny Clover's office. An all-points bulletin. Pick-up man. Description as follows. Height, 5 feet 11. Weight, 235. When last seen, was wearing a red suit, a red hat with bells, and black boots. Identifying marks. Has a long, snow-white beard. What's his name? Santa Claus!
Broadway brings you Christmas in a lot of ways. You get dribbled around by the opposing teams of last-minute shoppers. You ride backwards on up escalators so you can be in a good position for the down escalators. You get mauled and shoved and picked over, and finally you get gift-wrapped and sent on your way. My way was out to lunch and back to police headquarters, holding my Christmas stocking in my hand. I had two things, no rent and no Santa Claus. Two nothings which made for an empty holiday. Sergeant Tartaglia wasn't enjoying himself either, and he expressed himself with sentiment.
Humbug.
What did you say, Tartaglia?
Humbug, Danny. That's a Christmas expression I picked up to be used when you wished it was the 4th of July instead.
Yeah, me too.
You seen the afternoon papers, Danny? Yeah, take a look at it.
You look at it for me. What does it say?
Well, first it has got a picture on the front page of a tree. In the tree is me.
Mm-hmm.
Then it says under it, Officer Gino Tartaglia. Yeah, hey, Danny, they spelled it right. Well, Officer Tartaglia spent the afternoon cavorting in a tree to the delight and applause of all the little... Well, it runs on like that.
Oh, forget it. It wasn't your fault.
Then that's what I tried to tell Mrs. Tartaglia.
Doesn't she believe you?
Danny, she called me on the phone. I said, hello? She said, Signor Tarzan. Then she started laughing, hysterical. I can't get her to talk. Every time I pick up my phone, all I hear is Mrs. Tartaglia laughing.
I got my problems, too.
Yeah, this is probably the first time in the history of Santa Claus that he's ever heisted from his appointed rounds.
Maybe. Hey, did you get in touch with Nick's mother again, like I told you?
Oh, Danny, she ain't nowhere to be found. The old day must have skipped. And the 200 Santa Clauses that the boys investigated, not one of these is Nick Norman under the beard. I'll get it, Danny.
Thanks.
Sergeant Tartaglia. Huh? Yeah, he's here. It's for you, Danny.
Thank you. Danny Clover speaking.
Danny, this is Maxie. You know, Maxine Riddell.
Yeah, how are you, Maxie?
I'm in lingerie, Danny. Come on down.
What?
In the lingerie department at Fletcher's department store. Working. I got news for you. News about Nick Norman. You interested, Danny?
Yeah, I am. Hold on to everything, Maxie. I'll be right down.
Here, mister. Take this black nightgown over to that girl over there. She'll gift wrap it up. Hi, Danny. How am I doing?
Great, Maxie. Only great. How long you been working here?
Only for the Christmas season, Danny. But the way I've been operating, I think maybe they'll keep me on.
No questions about your background?
You mean about me being a shoplifter?
Uh-huh.
That's the reason I got the job. The way I was lifting things, I told them it'd be cheaper for them if they put me on the sales force. So they did. So for $22 a week, I'm an honest mouse. Anyway, it's steady.
Keep it that way, huh, Maxie?
Anything you say, Danny. Well, now that we've had our tea, I guess you want to know about Nick.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart to be a stoolie. You know how it is, Danny. Me with my former alliances.
But it's different now.
Yeah, different. I want it to be different for Tussie, too. You remember how it was between me and Tussie.
How was it?
It was gorgeous. That's why I'm being a pigeon, Danny. If Nick made up his mind to be a kosher citizen, he should stick to it. Not fall back into the arms of a mob like a doll who says mama.
Which mob, Maxie?
Tussie Carnes. Such a name for a gorilla. Tussie. How do you figure a name like that?
I don't know him. Where do I find him?
Tussie just got back from Chicago. He bought the Domino Club. I happened to be passing there on my lunch hour, and I saw Nick in a Santa Claus suit drinking grape juice with Tussie. Oh, excuse me, Danny, a customer. Yes, madam. Something for yourself.
Thanks, Maxie.
For what? We have some gorgeous outside girdles, madam, for everyday wear. They're right over here.
The Domino Club in the West 50s is a bright and shiny joint plastered with black glass. It stands close to the ground between two peeling brownstones. When you walk into it, you have the feeling you're walking into the mouth of a beetle. Its walls are lined with black mirrors, and its ceiling is draped with folds of scarlet silk. And at 6 o'clock of a Christmas Eve, the boys, complete with Christmas-wrapped girls, are beginning to gather. You ask a busboy in white tie and tails, where's Tussie Carnes? And he lifts an eyebrow to a guy standing near the bandstand. A guy grinning like an alley cat, while a girl pins a sprig of mistletoe to his lapel. You wait till she kisses Tussie. Then Tussie kisses her. But his eyes are open and flicking around the joint, so he sees you and pushes the girl away.
Beat it, Blitzen. I got company. Merry Christmas, stranger. You want something from Tussie, boy?
Same to you. And I want Nick Norman.
Oh, that's a big desire on a holiday. Why you want Nick? Tell Tussie, boy.
Maybe I gotta explain. I'm Danny Clover, a cop. I want him.
Don't everybody? Come with me, Sonny. Santa's right down at the end of this hallway. Merry Christmas, Melvin.
Ain't it, though, Tussie?
Merry Christmas, George.
Likewise, I'm sure.
I brought you a present, boys.
Goody.
Likewise.
Where's Nick Norman?
This fella here, he says to Tussie boy he wants Nick Norman, our Santa Claus.
Uh-oh. What big eyes you have, mister.
And you know something else that's plain precious, boys?
No. Do tell us, Tussie.
The fella says he is a cop. Isn't that cute, huh?
I could die.
Yeah. So show the fella Santa Claus, huh, fellas? Merry Christmas, Danny Clover. Oh, Tussie boy said that, didn't he?
Stay away from me.
But first we want to wish you on a star. Like...
You too crazy. Stay away from me.
I think that was not enough stars. I'll give him another package.
You know that Tussie's good to us. He gave us the best Christmas present two fellas could ever have.
Don't be greedy, Melvin. Leave some for me. Oh, look at that. It's all gone.
Come on, Danny, open your eyes.
What?
Yeah, open your eyes, Danny. It's getting late. Ain't you heard? Christmas is coming.
Hey, it's you, Nick Norman.
Oh, Danny, call me Sandy Claus. That's the nicest alias I got.
Now, look, Nick, I'm going to...
Oh, here, I'll help you up, Danny. Yeah, sit on the edge of the sofa there. Yeah. Sandy Claus, Danny.
Santa Claus, huh?
Sure.
So help me, Nick, where I'm going to put you, you'll spend the next 94 Christmases in solitary.
Take it easy, Danny. Come on, let's get out of here. I'll be late for that kid's party. Come on.
You mean let's get out of here just like that? I don't have to beat my way out of here?
What for?
What's all this about, Nick, Santa Claus?
You're adult today, Danny. What's the matter with you?
But you were kidnapped.
Kidnapped? Me? Who would want to do a thing like that to jolly old me?
A man in a tree said two guys pushed you into a car. He only had a bird's eye view, but he said kidnapped.
Oh, you mean Melvin and George?
I mean Melvin and George.
Two pals from Chicago, Daddy. They heard I was out and wanted I should be Santa Claus to a private party they was giving. That's all. Harmless guys, pals, buddies. We enjoy each other.
Yeah, they enjoyed me, too.
Before they left town for this party, they said to tell you... Oh, wait a minute. I wrote it down. It says... Dear Danny Clover, sorry we made a mistake and beat up your head. May the bells ring a joyous Noel for you. Signed, XX. That's Melvin and George.
A mistake, huh?
Sure. They knew some mob or other might try to get me as Santa Claus. They figured you was a mob, so they protected me from you, like you was fibbing about being a cop. After they walloped you unconscious, they went through your pockets and saw you was really a cop. So they wrote this note. The running ink you see here on the note, Danny, that's tears. You'll forgive him, won't you, Danny?
Yeah. How about your mother?
Well, that was your error, Danny. You didn't tell Mom you was from the police, so she thought just like Melvin and George.
Gave me the double talk.
Yeah, that's my mom. A grand old dame. You know what I told her once when I was 9 years old?
Yeah, no, my sleigh's outside. I'll give you a ride back to my office.
Well, that means the whole thing was an error in identification and motive, as they say, huh, Danny?
That's right. Isn't that right, Santa?
Sure. I'll tell it to you again if you want.
No, never mind. What happened to Simon Larrabee?
Oh, he went out for a feast of spud nuts and coffee.
Hey, you don't look very happy, Tartaglia.
No, Danny. I ain't happy. Unhappy. Very.
What's the matter? We've got Santa Claus? Come on, smile. It's going to be a fine Christmas.
I can't, Danny. I just can't. It's Mrs. Tartaglia. Yeah, now she ain't laughing anymore. The neighbors are laughing and Mrs. Tartaglia is crying.
Why?
Well, the later editions of the paper said that Santa Claus was heisted. It was because I was in a tree. Yeah, the papers say I, single-handed, messed up Christmas.
Bad as that, huh? Well, I'll tell you, Tartaglia...
Hey, what about my Christmas party?
Well, not yet, Santa. Wait till you get to the party.
Say, the press was saying that you were snatched, Sandy. What gives? It said that mobsters grabbed you.
Nah, it was just a little misunderstanding.
That's right, Marty. Nick was grabbed by mobsters.
Huh?
Yeah, well, then how'd you get away?
Sergeant Tartaglia.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. Sergeant Tartaglia. The kind of policeman who tracks down criminals to the lair.
I am, Danny?
The kind that single-handed rescued Santa Claus from the jaws of disaster.
This guy did that?
Yep. I'm just about to call the press boys and tell them about it.
Oh, Danny.
I mean it, Tartaglia. Don't be so modest. I'm going to do just that.
Danny.
Put Marty in a cab, Tartaglia. I'll send Santa down the squad car in a little while.
Yeah, sure. Well, come on, little tyke. Marty.
Okay. Merry Christmas, Danny.
Whatever you tell the press guys, Danny, I'll swear to it.
Sure you will.
Yeah, that's a fine Christmas you're giving everybody, Danny. How about yourself?
Oh, I'll have fun at the party. I always do.
Where is it? Where's my money?
Oh, look, Mr. Larrabee, it's Christmas.
Of course it's Christmas. That's why I want my rent, so I can have a Merry Christmas.
Hey, Danny, who is this guy that needs rent to have a Merry Christmas?
This is Simon Larrabee. He wants a year's rent in advance for that warehouse where the kids are having their party. Or else, no party.
Yes, that's who I am.
Oh, like that, huh? So that's how you are, huh, Simon?
Stop breathing in my face, Santa Claus.
All them kids wanting to have a party, and a Simon like you wants to louse it up.
I'll put him down, Nick.
Yes,
I ain't doing nothing, Danny. Just holding Simon up so as I can breathe in his face.
Please.
I want you to think about something, Simon. Think about all those kids that are looking forward to that Christmas party, which ain't gonna happen on account of you. Think about it.
All right, I'm thinking, yes.
Maybe you could think better with a pen in your hand, Simon.
Yes,
a pen that will write out a receipt for a year's rent in advance, huh, Simon?
Of course. Oh, Christmas spirit and all that. Yes, I'll get my receipt book. Oh, yeah. Oh, my. Well, I haven't felt so good in years. Yes, here you are, Mr. Glover. A receipt for a year's rent in advance. And tell the darlings, Merry Christmas with us.
Yeah, I will.
Ain't he a nice fella, Danny? Come on, nice fella. I'll take you to a party. Merry Christmas, Danny.
It's a Merry Christmas, Danny.
Merry Christmas. Yep. Merry Christmas. On Christmas Eve, Broadway is almost like any other place in the world. The bells ring out, the horns blow, there's laughter. The Mazdas on the Translux spell out slowly, word by word, peace on earth, goodwill to men. And you read it, you believe it. Because on Christmas Eve, you believe a miracle. Then a whirl of confetti is in your eyes, and you're pushed along with the crowd, and you never see the next news bulletin. You don't try to look back. It's Broadway, the merriest, the shiniest, the lonesomest mile in the world. Broadway, my beat.
Broadway's My Beat stars Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover and is written by Morton Fine and David Friedkin. The musical score was composed by Alexander Courage and conducted by Wilbur Hatch, and the program was produced and directed by Elliott Lewis. The cast tonight included Charles Calvert, Gil Stratton Jr., Howard McNear, Hal March, Bert Holland, Shep Menken, Estelle Dodge, and Peggy Weber.
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, The Santa Claus of Bums Boulevard. Christmas, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the Blue Note Cafe. Ethelbert, the head bartender, gazes sympathetically at the two glum faces opposite him, sighs, and...
Casey, I know just how you and Miss Williams feel. It ain't right to have to work on Christmas Day.
The three of us should have different jobs, Ethelbert.
And say, Ethelbert, where's Herman Chittison?
Now, he's having Christmas dinner with his family, the lucky dog. Johnny Paul dropped in to play the piano for us today.
Oh, good. Oh, my holidays don't mean a thing in our racket, Ethelbert. Newspapers must be printed.
And guys in my profession have to stand behind bars and make with bottles.
And lemons.
Oh, well, it might be worse. At least we ain't got families.
Well, that's what makes it worse for me. My family's 1,000 miles away.
I haven't got a family anywhere.
Well, you've got sisters, Casey.
Sure, they're all married. They all got families of their own, and all 2,000 miles away.
My sister Edna ain't married, but you know Edna.
Yeah. Well, let's can this deep philosophical discussion, Annie. Get started for Hackett Street.
Hackett Street?
We have an assignment down there.
That's the crummiest street in town. Nothing but gin mills, flop houses, and bums.
Yeah, it's Bums Boulevard.
Why's your paper send you down there on Christmas?
For a story, of course.
Yeah. Ethelbert, you know, for the past 2 years, at exactly 1:30 on Christmas Day, a guy has shown up at the corner of Hackett and Finley with a wad of new $1 bills, which he's handed out to all the rummies around there. Then when his wad is gone, he's beat it, without telling anybody who he is, where he's from, or anything.
If he shows up again this year, City Desk wants pictures of him and a complete yarn about him. We'll play him up as the Santa Claus of Bums Boulevard.
The guy must be nuts, giving good dough away to a bunch of lushes who'll spend it on nothing better than cheap hooch. What kind of a guy is he?
Oh, probably a publicity hound, I guess. Well, come on, let's get started, Annie.
Yeah, we haven't too much time before 1:30. So long, Ethelbert.
So long, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it'll be a very merry and very Christmassy Christmas among the panhandlers and drunks that we're going to see. You know, the holiday spirit's a lot of malarkey anyway, unless you got a family. Come on, Annie.
Yeah, you're right, Casey.
Yeah, he's right. Walter, bring up some lemons.
Casey, we're terribly late. That man will have given away his dollar bills and be gone by the time we get
Annie,
there.
can I help it if we ran out of gas 4 blocks from the nearest open filling station?
You
I can't
could have
help
had
that.
the tank filled before it went dry.
Oh,
couldn't
sure,
you?
I'm wrong. I'm always wrong to hear you tell it. All you women do is nag.
And a Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, kid. I'm a dope.
I'm sorry. I love the bracelet you gave me, Casey.
Huh? Yeah?
You have exquisite taste.
It looks swell on you. Hey, I wanted to get you a ring.
A ring?
Yeah, with your birthstone. Amethyst. See, I know it.
Oh,
I didn't see any I liked.
it's just as well. I don't care for amethysts and rings.
No?
No.
Oh. Wish I could afford a family of my own, Annie.
What makes you think you can?
My pay envelope and the cost of living. Well, maybe someday.
But maybe when that someday comes, no woman will want you.
You may have something there. I've been a bachelor so long, Annie, it's become a habit. You know, this morning when I woke up in my dinky little apartment, I felt, empty and lonely and useless. I haven't got a home.
I felt the same way.
I wonder, maybe, Annie, if the two of us...
What about the two of us?
Well, Oh, nuts. Look at this crummy street and the people on it. How can anybody think of home and a family life down here? How can anybody believe in anything or dream of anything? Every one of these bums, Annie, had big ideas once, and now look at him.
This street is frightening, isn't it?
Anybody reaches here, he's finished.
The last stop. There's a crowd lined up at the next corner, Casey. Is that where they...
Yeah, that's the place where the dollar bill Santa Claus has shown up before.
Well, maybe he's been there and gone.
No, if that were so, those rum-dums wouldn't be standing in line. They'd all be in the nearest gin mill spending the dough or fighting to get it away from each other. Well, I'll park the car here and walk the rest of the way.
Yeah, the car may be safer away from that mob.
That's how I figure. Let's see, I got the camera. Lock the car. Okay, let's go.
It's 1:45, Casey. According to his previous schedule, Santa Claus is 15 minutes late. Maybe he won't show up.
It'll be a big Christmas thirst on Bums Boulevard if he doesn't. I'm sorry.
Pardon, mister. I didn't see you.
Oh, it's okay, sister. Take it easy now.
So I'm all right. Don't I know you?
I don't think so. Holy. Miss Arnold.
We're both mistaken. I don't know you, and you don't know me. Excuse me for bumping you. Goodbye. Casey, what?
Annie. That dame is Julia Arnold.
Julia Arnold?
She was a big actress, a great star.
Julia? She was a Broadway sensation when I was in college. Why, she was beautiful. Oh, Casey, that woman can't
The way
be
she
the
denied her identity proves she is Annie. I heard that Julia Arnold hit the skids, but
Oh,
she was married to a nice guy who got killed in the war, and then her kid died, and she... It's not nice, is it?
And spare dime, mister? Just a dime.
I guess so, old-timer. Let me see.
I ain't a drinking man, mister. I'll spend it for food, not liquor.
You don't look like a rummy.
I ain't. I'm just old. You can ask anybody around here about Smitty, that's me. They'll tell you Smitty don't drink, don't steal. The worst they'll tell you about Smitty is he's just too old.
Look, I haven't got any small change, Smitty. Here's a buck.
Oh, and here's another for me.
$2? Oh, God bless you both.
Forget it.
Goodbye.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas.
You didn't look like a faker, Casey.
No, just old.
Christmas.
There are plenty of fakers in that mob we're coming to, though.
Oh, they look like a line of zombies.
Yeah. Dead and won't lie down. Not that big guy over there, though, Annie. That big, heavy-set mug, the green lumberjack coat.
Oh, he looks like a prize fighter.
I know that guy. His name is Boots Driscoll. He's a yellow skunk. He's mean as a copperhead. You know, that louse would steal pennies from Kid, and he's the boss of Bums Boulevard.
I gather you don't like him.
I don't.
Well, look who's here.
Hello, Boots.
Hi, Casey. I ain't seen you
Yeah, since the last time you came out of the big house.
That's right. Who's the good-looking dame with you?
This lady's a friend of mine.
Well, ain't you gonna introduce us?
Nope.
Oh. What are you doing down here in my territory?
Came to get a line on the screwball who hands out new dollar bills on Christmas. Apparently he's late.
Yeah, the louse. When he shows up, I get a good mind to kick his head in.
Yeah, not until after he hands out his dough, of course. You think he'll show up?
The folks think so because they want to think it. Me? I just stick around and keep everybody in line.
So you got them all lined up?
Yeah. First come, first served, if and when Santa Claus gets here. All right, stop pushing, you bums. Get back in line there.
Of course, you get something for your policing service.
Well, why not? Them jerks would tear one another to pieces fighting for a grab at them bucks like they did last year if I wasn't around. This year, I'm taking a cut of 35 cents out of every bum here to keep things peaceful.
Boots, you've got all the instincts of a big racketeer.
I'll say.
Where's the racket part? This is a legitimate business.
I guess it is at that for you. This way, you're getting the dough without using a gat or brass knuckles.
Say, if that's meant as a crack...
Skip it, Boots. I'm nearly as big as you are.
Boots. What?
Casey, that awful-looking man.
Boots. What do you want, Creep?
Creep's a good name for him.
Hey, the guy who passes out dough. Santa Claus. I just found him.
You found him?
Yeah. In the alley back of Fritz's gin mill. Somebody socked him on the head and took all his dough. I think the guy's dead.
Dead?
Dead.
Yeah, dead.
Dead? Hey, you bums stay here. Show me, Creep.
Yeah, come on.
We're going too, Annie.
I'll say we are.
There he is, Boots. Found behind them beer kegs.
Yeah, I see him, Creep. Hey, his pockets have been turned out. He's been rolled.
There ain't a dime left on him.
You'd be sure of that.
He's so still, Casey. Is he dead?
No. His heart's good and strong, Annie. He's only been knocked out.
Oh, he's such a little man. Such a mild, gentle-looking little man. Oh, who could have done
I'll
it?
find out who took the dough he meant to give us. And when I do...
Shut up, Boots. The guy just opened his eyes. He's coming too.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Just a guy who wants to help you, mister.
My head aches.
Yeah. It'd be a miracle if it didn't. Been slugged hard.
Yes. Something hit me.
Did you see the rat who hit you? The rat who took your dough?
My dough?
Yeah, you've been rolled, fella. Your money's gone.
Oh, the money.
Who got it?
I can't say.
How much did you have on you?
$300 in new $1 bills.
$300?
Maybe the cops can get it back. Annie, see if we can find a
No,
telephone.
no, don't call the police.
Why not? You've been assaulted and robbed.
But my head doesn't hurt very much now. I haven't been really injured. And I'm sure the thief will return the money.
Return?
When he becomes aware that it belongs to his neighbors, to his comrades down here. You see, I meant to give it away.
You think the thief will return it on that account?
When he thinks about it, Yes.
This guy must be nuts.
Thieves can be good people.
Mister, you haven't been around much.
You got as much chance of getting that dough back as I have of being elected a Supreme Court judge.
If you had taken the money, wouldn't you return it under the circumstances?
Me? Well, of course. I'm different.
Well, you're different from the guy who got the 300, Boots. He has it and you haven't. But maybe I'm wrong.
Hey, what do you mean?
At what time do you think you were hit and robbed, mister?
I entered the alley at about 20 minutes of 2.
And I've been on that corner where you met me, Casey, ever since 1 o'clock. Every bum in that line will say so. You can't pin this on me.
Okay, Boots, but you should understand my natural suspicion.
Yeah.
You, creep.
Yes, sir.
What were you doing in this alley when you found him?
Well, I was just walking through, honest. I seen a foot sticking out from the back of them kegs, and but when I looked closer, there this guy was. Well, I didn't take his toe, Boots. Don't look at me like that.
I believe you, creep. Why shouldn't I?
Well, I don't.
Let go of my collar.
Shut up, creep. Mr. Santa Claus, whether you like it or not, I'm going to find a cop and have this creep guy searched.
Wait. You're not the wrong person. And I will make no complaint.
What?
There's nothing you can do, Casey, if that's how the little guy wants it.
It is how I want it.
You gotta let me go.
Okay. You insist on being a sap, mister. It's your hard luck, not mine. Well, come on, Annie. Let's get out of here.
Well, I'd like to, Casey, but I've been assigned to interview this gentleman.
What? Oh, that's so, yeah.
Interview me?
Yeah. To begin with, what's your name?
Why, Shepard.
Shepard?
Yes.
Your first name? Oh, Casey, catch him.
That got him.
Hey, the guy passed out.
The crack on the head did more damage than he admitted.
Look, there's a clinic up the street. We'll get him to a doc.
I guess you can take care of him alone, huh, Casey?
Yes, I won't need your help, Thicket
We parked our car near here, this alley, in case he's no
Okay, Annie.
Well, I'll be getting along myself, Boots. So long.
Oh, no, creep.
Hey, why you grabbing my arm?
You're gonna give me that $300 you took.
Are you sure you feel all right now, Mr. Shepard?
Yes, Miss Williams.
Doc said you got a really nasty crack on the head. I'll drive you home. He wants you to stay in bed for a few days.
Thank you, but men are seldom as sick as their learned physicians say. I'm quite all right.
Just the same, we're taking you to your home.
Yeah. Where do you live?
Very close by.
What? You mean in this neighborhood?
Yes, but I have some unfinished business to attend to before I lie down, Mr. Casey. That money hasn't been returned yet.
If you get it back, Mr. Shepard, I'll believe in the faith that moves mountains.
Mountains have been moved by steam shovels, Miss Williams. And man's faith in himself created the steam shovel.
By that you mean you're going to do something to persuade the thief?
I shall only remain near the thief so he can find me.
I don't get you.
Casey.
Huh?
Look.
Holy. It's that creep guy.
His face is terribly bruised.
He must have crashed into a 10-ton truck.
Yeah, he's dragging himself along.
Hey, creep, what happened to you?
How did...
Hey, Boots beat me up.
Boots?
Yeah, in the alley after you left.
Why?
He thought I took that $300. He beat me up and then searched me. But he didn't find it because I didn't have it. Hey, buy me a drink, will you? I need a drink bad.
Look, we're going to take you into the clinic and get you patched up.
No. When the docs get the mitts on guys like me, they send us to the hospital where we can't get no liquor. So, just buy me a shot, mister, huh? That's all I need.
I'm going to...
We'll serve this man best by doing as he asks, Casey. At the moment, his body needs its accustomed alcohol more than his bruises need medical treatment.
You're a wise guy, mister. You're a real gent.
Unfortunately, I have no money to give him.
All right, creep. I'll buy you a drink. And I'll go into a gin mill with you. While you tell me more about finding Mr. Shepard in that alley.
I already told you all I know.
We'll talk about that later. Come on. We'll go into this joint here.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an awful place, Casey.
Yeah, it is. You stay outside, Annie.
Oh, why should I? There's another woman at the bar.
Huh? Yes. That's Julia Arnold.
Oh, I see. The actress.
Yeah. You coming in too, Mr. Shepard?
Yes, thank you.
Hey, Gus. Here, give me a shot, huh? Give me a shot quick.
Well, I see you got the dough to pay for it, creep.
I'm paying for his drink.
Oh. Well, you gents and Lady Hat.
Nothing for me.
Me either.
I'll have a little wine.
One of the gents ain't ashamed to have a drink with her like some me, Gus.
What kind of wine, mister?
Plain red wine.
Alky for me, Gus, and quick.
Okay.
All right, now we'll do some talking, Creep. Mr. Shepard says he went into that alley at around 20 minutes of 2. Where were you at that time?
Mr. Casey, no purpose can be served by questioning this man. I'm making no complaint to the police, and
You may condone a crime, Shepard, but I don't.
I don't condone the crime. I'm forgiving it.
Well, we wouldn't have much law and order if everyone did that.
Perhaps we'd have more, Miss Williams.
This guy just don't care about $300,
Here your drinks.
Give me, Gus.
The money wasn't mine, Mr. Casey. I'd have given it away in another few minutes.
And a lot of good it would have done him. $1 apiece that'd slide across bars like this for raw alcohol. Mr. Shepard, you seem like an awful nice guy, but it's time somebody taught you the facts of life.
Few can teach the facts of life, Mr. Casey. Few but little children. Because man forgets the simplicity of childhood. He forgets that all the world is one great family. I think our friend Creep would like another drink.
Yeah. And thanks a million, mister. Hey, Gus.
Okay, Creep. Be with you in a minute.
Hey, Gus.
What do you want, Julie?
Another drink, of course.
You drank up the buck you gave me.
Casey, that fine actress.
Come here, Gus. Come here.
There's nothing anybody can do for her, Annie. Julia Arnold's hit bottom.
Look, I fooled you, Gus. I held out. I got another dollar bill.
Another brand new one, Julia.
Another new.
Where'd you get this dough? When you were in here this noon, you said you didn't have a dime.
Casey. Julie found them, Gus. I found them, and I got more hid away.
You hear that, Shepard?
I heard.
When she leaves this place, we follow.
She's turned it into the same alley where you were robbed, Mr. Shepard.
I see, Miss Williams.
We saw her come out of that same alley just a little while before Creep found you.
Poor woman.
Yeah, it's a rotten shame. Julia Arnold was a fine person once.
She can be a fine person again. Casey, why didn't you let Creep come here with us?
Oh, because these bums all stick together. I know how they act. He might have tipped off Julia Arnold that we're trailing her.
She's going down into that cellar, Casey.
Come on, we don't want to lose her.
Wait. That man.
Boots Driscoll.
He was hiding behind those ash cans. Now he's going down into the cellar.
As though he were watching for Julia Arnold, as though he's following her now. Come on, let's go.
There are rooms down here.
She probably lives in this cellar.
Yeah, but which door?
Get out of here!
Her voice.
That door, Casey.
We're going in, all right. What? Let her go, Boots. I said let her go.
They broke my arm.
What's the big idea, Boots?
Ask her.
He came to rob me. He said he'd make me tell where my money was hid.
And you're gonna tell me, all of you. Stick up your hands.
Casey.
The man has a gun.
I see.
Stick 'em up, I said.
Okay, Boots. But you're losing what little mind you ever had. A lousy $300 is worth
Shut
a
up,
rap.
Casey. This is my territory. I'm boss, and I don't take no double crossing. Hand it over, Julie, or...
I haven't $300. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hand it over.
Don't shoot. I'll give you what I have. I found $6 bills in the alley today. Here are the 4 I have left.
You're bluffing, but I ain't. Give me that 300. Keep back, Casey. You get it first.
You're crazy, Boots. Listen.
Shut up. This is your last chance, Julie. Give me that 300 or...
Out, Boots.
Huh?
She ain't got it.
Creep.
I got it. I stole it and I hid it. Here it is.
You lousy double-crosser.
Mr. Shepard, I'm sorry for what I did to you. I ain't never been no good. Standing at that bar with you, you drinking with me like I wasn't just a rat. I don't know. I had to get the dough I'd hid and bring it to you. I'm sorry I had to hand it over to Boots.
You gave it to him to save this woman's life, Creep.
Yeah, I guess I did. Another thing, I dropped them 6 new dollar bills on purpose in the alley when I saw Julie coming so she'd find them and spend them and take the rap for me.
There'll be no rap for anyone.
You said it. None of you birds are gonna live to squeal on me.
You don't want to shoot us, Boots.
Don't I?
Do you?
I got myself in too deep.
Not yet. You haven't taken life. And your life isn't finished.
I ain't gonna finish it and stir. I got a chance and none of you talk.
Yes, you have. Why don't you shoot us, Boots?
Well, I'm gonna.
When?
Shut up. I can't shoot a guy who talks like you do.
Words have never stopped a bullet or a true desire.
Nuts. Here, Casey, take this gat and this dough and send for the cops. I'm tired of being a phony tough guy.
Shall I send for the cops, Mr. Shepard?
If you wish, Casey.
You're running this.
We have $300. Everyone seems to agree that my original plan for its distribution was unwise. What do you suggest we do with it? May I have your suggestion, Creep?
I tried to frame Julie. Give it to her.
And your suggestion, Boots?
Give it to Julie.
It's yours, Miss Arnold.
Mine? $300. Oh, I can buy a decent dress. Once I earned that much for a single performance, I can do it again.
If you believe so.
But I don't need this money you intended for the poor. I'm not poor. God gave me gifts I've squandered. I still have some left. They're all I need. Give this money to the really poor.
What shall I do with it, Casey?
Mr. Shepard? You're still running this.
So Mr. Shepard gave the dough to that old man who panhandled you and Miss Williams, huh, Casey?
Yeah. Smitty, who didn't drink and didn't steal. Was just old.
What do you suppose Smitty did with it, Ethelbert?
How should I know?
He was so happy he had to make others feel the same way. He played Santa Claus.
You mean?
Yeah. He stood on a corner of Bums Boulevard and handed out those dollar bills.
Funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was like a little child who hadn't forgotten that all the world is one big family.
That's a pretty thought.
I got it from Mr. Shepard.
He sounds like a very interesting guy. What'd you find out about him, Miss Williams? Him personal, I mean.
Nothing. While we were watching old Smitty give his money away, Mr. Shepard wandered off and we lost him.
Think you'll find him again?
Well, I hope so.
So do I.
But you don't know his address or even what business he's in?
No. But he told me he was once a carpenter.
John Deese. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Van Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary division. You get a call that an important piece of religious art has been stolen from the oldest church in Los Angeles. There's no lead to its whereabouts. Your job? Find it.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime.
For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, December 24th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Burglary Division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. I'd gone across the street to buy stamps for some Christmas cards I was sending out. It was 9:15 a.m. when I got back to room 45. Burglary. I sat down at a table in the squad room and I started to address the cards when Frank walked in carrying a stack of Christmas boxes.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Christmas cards, huh? A little late, aren't you?
Well, I was going to send them out Monday, but we had that stakeout.
You ought to get married, Joe.
Yeah?
It's the only system. Faye does all that stuff for me. Laundry, mails, cards. Only system.
Might help.
You got a big stack there.
Ought to cut down the list. Look at this here. Upholstery shop.
Yeah?
They send me a card every year. I never get anything upholstered.
Faye and I ought to go over our list. Cut off a few names. I brought in your present. Want to open it now?
No, I'll wait.
I always open a couple a day before.
Why?
Well, put you in the spirit ahead of time. I opened Phil's this morning.
Who's he?
Faye's brother in Denver. Gave me a magazine, one of those funny ones.
What do you mean, a comic book?
No, one of those funny ones, you know.
No, I don't, Frank.
Well, some of the pages have holes in them. You look through and there's a picture on the next page.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those on the newsstand.
They have cloth pasted in.
Cloth?
In the ads. If you want to buy a suit, they have a sample right there.
You mean you can feel it?
Reach right out and feel it. There was one for $200.
A suit?
Sure. Cloth comes from Scotland.
What's it made out of? Solid gold?
No, they got a special kind of goat over there. It's real smooth.
Not a goat, Frank. A sheep.
Well, it's a special kind of sheep, then, because a suit costs $200.
You gonna get one?
I told Faye. She said, wear the sample. Anything doing?
Fanning and Pryor were in on that market holdup.
They come up with anything?
Pound of air, nothing else.
I hope it stays quiet. I got more shopping to do.
I finished.
What'd you get Ann?
Stationery set, some paper and envelopes, leather binding.
Joe, you'll never learn.
Well, what's the matter?
No woman wants a stationery set. Get her something personal.
Well, it's got her initials on it.
No. You want something more sentimental, romantic.
What'd you get Faye?
It's different in her case.
What'd you get Faye?
Sewing machine.
That's romantic.
Well, it isn't a way.
Why didn't you buy her a catcher's mitt? Burglary Friday. Yes, that's right. You have the right department. All right, Father, we'll be right down. No, you can tell us about it there. Goodbye. The old mission church, they've had a theft.
Collection money?
Statue of the child Jesus. Frank and I checked out of the office and rode over to the church at the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Main. The Old Mission Plaza Church, founded 1781, the year Los Angeles became a pueblo. The outside was typical early Spanish design, complete with mission arches. It was made of adobe and painted white. They called it the Queen of the Angels. The Padres from down in Mexico built it. The devout Mexicans in town still attended services there. 10:05 a.m. Frank and I crossed through the courtyard. It used to be the old stable, but the Spanish priest changed all that when it became a mission. Stonemasons paved the stable floor and made it a courtyard. They planted grapevines, trees, and flowers. A young priest crossed the courtyard to meet us. He'd been sitting on a stone bench reading his morning prayers, as priests had done here for 172 years. We asked for Father Xavier Rojas, who'd communicated with us. We were told he was inside. We entered a side door. The church seemed to glow with the hundreds of votive candles flickering on both sides of the altar and at the shrines throughout the church. It was empty except for a few people praying. Surrounding the main altar were several old oil paintings in gold frames. The air was heavy with the scent of Advent flowers. We found Father Rojas up near the sanctuary, looking at the nativity scene. He told us about the crib. It was a $70 duplication of the scene at Bethlehem. The parishioners had taken up a collection for it 31 years ago. It was put up every year on December 22nd and taken down after the holy season. It was beautiful, except that one of the shepherds had lost an arm, the sheep was old and cracked, and the infant Jesus was missing. Father Rojas led us back into the sacristy.
I'm sorry to bother you, men.
It's all right, Father.
Especially now, the holiday season.
We cash our checks, Father. You want to tell us what happened?
Or what you think happened?
I discovered the statue was missing right after the 6 o'clock Mass.
You say the 6?
Yes. I started over to the rectory and stopped by the crib.
Was the statue there before Mass?
I don't know, but it was there last night.
How late is the church open?
All night.
You leave it wide open so any thief can walk in?
Particularly thieves, Sergeant.
You say it was there last night, Father. How late?
10 or 11 o'clock. We had confessions.
No one saw it after that?
One of the altar boys. He says it may have been there. He thinks it was.
Did he see it?
He's not sure.
What's his name?
Pardon me. Here's the schedule. You'll find the names for every Mass there.
Was there a big crowd at the 6 o'clock Mass, Father?
Not too many. 7's the big one. People on their way to work.
Did anyone stay after Mass, did you notice?
Not especially. I came back here, took off the vestments. I suppose it was 10 or 15 minutes before I went back in the church.
It was empty then?
No, people were coming in for the 7 o'clock.
Are these the altar boys, James Cornine and Joseph Heffernan?
That's right. Joe's the one who mentioned it might have been there.
Did you check with the other priests, Father?
Before I called you. None of them knows anything about it.
Just for a check on the pawn shops, how much is the statue worth?
In money?
Well, that's the point in pawn shops, Father.
Only a few dollars. We could get a new one, but it wouldn't be the same. We've had children in the parish. They've grown up and married. It's the only Jesus they know.
We understand.
And we've had children who died. It was the only Jesus they knew. So many of the people who come here are simple people. They wouldn't understand, Sergeant. It would be like changing the evening star.
We'll do our best, Father.
That's why it would mean so much to have it back for the first Mass on Christmas.
It's not very long, Father.
Less than 24 hours.
If anything turns up here, you know where to get in touch with us.
Yes. Sad, isn't it?
How's that?
In so short a time, men learn to steal.
Yes, but consider us, Father.
Us?
If some of them didn't, you and I'd be out of work.
10:50 a.m. We notified pawn shop detail. Frank and I checked out the 2 altar boys. The first one, James Cornine, said he knew nothing about the missing statue. The second one, Joseph Heffernan, was not at home. His father said he had a part-time job, but he'd have him get in touch with us right after lunch. By 11:30 a.m., we'd run out of book procedure. We had a man to find. Our only clue, he'd been to church. 11:33 a.m. We checked the phone books for the names of religious stores in the area. 2 of them were closed. We tried the 3rd. When we got there, the only person in the store was an elderly man sitting by a table. In front of him was a large, beautifully carved chess set.
We're police officers. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Great to see you. Caught me in the middle of a big chess match.
Where's your partner?
Up in San Jose. We've been playing for years.
Same match?
No, just 2 or 3 months on this one. What I meant was we've been playing different matches for years.
I see.
You know, we do it through the mail. I send him a move, he sends me one.
Must keep you on your toes.
Except during the holidays, the mail gets all fiddled up. That's no good.
Guess not.
Slows things down, that's no good. I like to catch him off guard.
You Mr. Flavin?
How'd you know? We never met.
Your name's on the window out front.
Mr. Flavin, we checked the other 2 religious...
The child Jesus. Do you have one we could look at?
Sure.
No, sir, a larger one.
You don't want a larger one, unless it's for a church. That's where you want a larger one.
Could we see it, please?
It's not my due to butt in. But unless you live in a big place, this'll make your living room all the kilter.
Yes, sir. Do most of the people who go to the mission church trade here?
Good many of them, especially the kids.
Why kids?
More religious. Check on yourself. See if kids aren't more religious than you.
Might be so.
That's what's wrong with the world. Oh, I don't mean you're wrong with it. Everybody.
Yes, sir. Wonder if we could stick to the point, Mr. Flavin.
Sure. A lot of people from the mission church come in here.
Do people ever come in and sell back a religious article?
Like a prayer book or rosaries?
Yes, sir.
Second hand, you mean?
Yes, sir.
Not since I ever been around. It's silly.
Why?
People don't have religious articles so they can get rid of them. They have them so they can have them.
But if a man had a statue and wanted to sell it, he'd come to a place like this.
Sure, but he wouldn't want to sell it.
He would if it was stolen.
No, sir. If a man was to steal a statue, he'd be crazy or something like that. The only place he'd want to go is where crazy people are.
You may be right, Mr. Flavin.
I don't know what you fellas are looking for, but if it's somebody who stole a statue, he's crazy and you won't find him. You won't find him as long as you live, or in 1,000,000 years.
That should cover it.
We checked religious stores out as far as Van Ness. We asked the same questions. The owners gave us the same answers, but none of them were as encouraging as Mr. Flavin. Frank and I had lunch and reported back to the office. It was 1:30 p.m. when we started into the squad room. The captain was just coming out.
I just checked for you in the lunchroom.
And we've been down on that theft at the mission.
Making some action on the Patterson case.
They locate him?
I think he's on the bus from Sacramento.
Well, that means the Bakersfield police.
We'll wait and see.
Are one of you fellas Sergeant Friday?
He is.
I'm Joe Heffernan. My father said you wanted to see me.
Well, sit down, son. You didn't have to come in. A phone call would have worked.
My father said to get on over. He says that any kid that uses phones is lazy.
We want to ask you about this morning. You serve 6 o'clock Mass?
Yes, sir. I'm senior boy, so I get the 6th.
You're a senior and you take the early trick?
Yes, sir. That way, if you receive communion, you get to have breakfast sooner.
Father Rojas says you think the statue was there before Mass.
I didn't look, but I have a feeling it was there.
A feeling?
You know, how you have a feeling about something, but you're not sure.
Did you stay around long after Mass?
I put out the candles and hung up my surplice.
How long would that take?
About 5 minutes, maybe.
Did any of the people at Mass stay on?
Some of 'em always do, especially ladies.
Oh?
Maybe they don't finish in time, or else they start new prayers. I don't know.
So when you left, there were still some women there?
No, sir. That was at first. After I went back to the sacristy, there was only this one man.
What man?
He comes at 6 o'clock all the time.
Do you know his name?
No, sir. But he works down in Olive, you know, paint shop, where they paint signs.
Could you describe him?
Sort of medium. He was wearing a suit that didn't match.
Didn't match?
You know, different pants than coat.
How about his age?
Oh, he's pretty old.
Take a guess.
About 40, maybe. There's nothing particular about him.
Then why'd you notice him?
I've seen him before. And the bundle, I guess.
The bundle?
Out in front. I saw him when he was coming out. He had this bundle, and he almost dropped it.
How large a bundle?
It's hard to say.
Come on, son. Was it large or small? The size of the statue?
About that big. Yes, sir.
We located the sign shop. The suspect didn't work there anymore, but we discovered his name was Claude Stroop. We found out where he lived. 2:25 p.m. We arrived there. It was a hotel for men, mostly old men, mostly down and outers. It was called the Golden Dream.
Police officers. We're looking for Claude Stroop.
Hope Claude didn't get in any trouble.
So do we. Is he in?
No. He's got room 307. You can check if you like.
We'll take your word.
Were you on this morning?
Huh?
You have the early shift.
Well, we don't have shifts. My uncle owns the place. I'm the shift.
Did Stroop spend last night here?
Came in about 11.
When did he leave this morning?
Around 6, maybe before.
Did he come back after?
8 o'clock or so. Then left. Supposed to be back at 10. And pulls this trick.
What trick?
Our program. He knows the other fellas need him.
Program?
You're here at the hotel. Every Christmas we have a program. Put up a tree and sing. They're mostly old fellas. Singing like that makes them remember back when they were kids. Then Jimmy Finn comes on.
Jimmy Finn?
He shares number 409. His family once had a lot of money, so he tells the fellas about it. Stories about Christmas. How they had this big log, and his grandfather used to start it up, and after dinner, everybody turned over his plate, and there underneath was a $20 gold piece. Brand new one.
When Stroop came in this morning, did he have a bundle?
I didn't see him come in.
You said you saw him.
I saw him go out after, but not come in.
When was that?
8. If you want to look for a bundle, I could give you his key.
We don't have a warrant.
It's all right. I know about police. It's all right with me.
It's not with us.
I didn't mean that. I just meant it was all right with me.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen when
They were 3 old men. You couldn't tell how much better they would have been with Stroop singing the 4th part, but somehow you didn't care. This was Christmas at the Golden Dream, and it sounded fine.
though the frost was cruel, when the poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel.
This is the last rehearsal. They got most of the songs down pat.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's why it's a shame Claude isn't here. He's tenor, and they need him to make it sound just right.
Does Stroop have a job?
No, sir. He used to have jobs. Not much lately, though.
You say where he was going?
No, he should have. The fellas need him.
When he comes in, will you call us?
Sure, and not say anything to him.
That's right.
I hope it's nothing serious for Claude. Fella's troubles ought to be over.
Troubles?
Way back, it wouldn't count now.
Tell us anyway.
Well, I don't know much about it.
As much as you know. Now, come on.
It was something back where he used to live. He robbed somebody or something.
What else?
That's all. It was a long time ago, way far back. But he forgot it all, the robbing and everything.
No, not quite. He remembered it this morning.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. For Jesus Christ our Savior was born upon this day to save
We went back to the office and ran Stroop's name through R&I. If he'd been booked anywhere, we had no record of it, at least not under that name. 4:15 p.m. Pawn shop detail reported back. No object resembling the statue of the child Jesus had been turned in. 4:18 p.m. I hung up the phone.
Patterson's on that Sacramento bus. I thought Bakersfield had it. They were supposed to confirm. They did. Upward station.
What about Fanning and Pryor?
They're still out.
Well, they'll be back soon. When's the bus arrive?
6 o'clock.
There's plenty of time for them to make it.
There's more time for you.
We're still on that theft.
Can it wait?
No.
What is it? $10, $15 statue?
When's the price determine a case?
I realize it's a church statue, but that doesn't give it priority.
It's important to them, Captain. Joe and I promised to get it back.
What do you got on it?
Nothing much.
And why are you so big-hearted?
Burglary Friday. When? No. Don't say anything. No. Right. It's Claude Stroop. He just walked into the hotel. He's our suspect.
Nobody's leaked to him?
No.
You'll keep. You can run him down tomorrow.
It'll be too late then.
They need it for the first mass in the morning, Skipper. It's kind of a big thing for them.
I'm sorry. I can't juggle details around so you can get a statue back. If there's time later on, we'll do our best.
Yes, sir.
You better get over to the station.
Yes, sir. Will you call Father Rojas over at the mission?
Why?
Tell him we're too busy to work on that statue.
But we'll do it later. Tomorrow or when we get a chance.
Why can't you call him?
Well, we better get over to the station.
If Patterson's on that bus, we don't want to miss him.
All right, I'll call him.
Friday.
Yeah.
I can send Fanning and Pryor over. You might as well stay on that other thing.
Whatever you say, Captain. p.m. We arrived at the Golden Dream Hotel. The desk clerk was right. Claude Stroop looked like a man who'd had his troubles at bargain rates. Your name Claude Stroop?
Yes, sir.
Police officers. We'd like to talk to you.
I didn't do anything against the law. Honest, I didn't do anything against it.
You haven't been accused.
Want to take you downtown?
We'd like to talk to you.
No, sir, I'm not going. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to talk to anybody.
You're half wrong already. 5:15 p.m. We returned Stroop for interrogation. He kept his word. He refused to talk. 6:05 p.m. Frank called Fay, told her he'd be a little late. Stroop didn't move for a whole hour. He sat and stared, but he didn't talk. 6:40 p.m. We got a final report from pawn shop detail. The shops were closed. There was no statue. Stroop still hadn't talked.
Don't you ever want to go home, Stroop?
If I was to talk, he wouldn't let me go.
Depends on what you'd say.
I'd say it wrong, and I wouldn't get home.
You won't this way either.
I'd like to go. You can bet on that. This is the 7th year we had the program, and I never missed a one. Not a single one.
Why don't you tell us what happened, Stroop?
How would I know you'd let me go?
You wouldn't.
I might as well anyway.
All right, what happened from Mass on?
Well, there was Mass. I came out and started down toward the hotel.
Back up.
I left my stuff at the hotel, and then I picked up George's car. I didn't steal it. He said I could have it any time I wanted. Only this time I didn't ask him. I took it and started out.
Yeah.
I should have asked, but I just didn't. I went over to Grand Avenue for the Christmas bulbs, where this fella sells them secondhand. It was coming out of the lot that I did it.
Yeah.
The bumper must have caught the other car. Didn't leave too big a dent, but there was this long scratch. I got out and tried to wipe it off with my handkerchief. You know, spit on it like. Only it didn't do no good. I didn't think anybody saw. I don't know how you fellas found out about it.
I'll check auto records.
Right. Stroop, we didn't bring you down here to talk about that.
You didn't?
No. There's a statue missing from the church. The statue of the child Jesus.
You mean I took it?
You took a bundle out of church?
Yes, sir. That was my other pants for the program tonight. I had a place sewed up and there was a button off. You can check. But I wouldn't take a statue.
I don't think you would either.
He's clear at auto records.
Go on home.
For the program? You mean it's all right?
Good night, Stroop.
Good night. Merry Christmas.
Where to?
Well, I don't know. We could stay and work on it tonight.
Wouldn't do any good. We won't find it.
I don't think so.
No use kidding the priest. Build his hopes up.
Might as well go tell him now. Merry Christmas. "7:27 p.m. We found Father Rojas. Frank told him how it was, that we couldn't get the statue back by morning, but that we'd keep trying during the week. He said he understood. We told him we had to get on. As Frank and I started to leave, the doors at the main entrance to the church opened. It was a good 200 feet away. It was hard to be sure, but it looked like a small boy drawing a bright red wagon behind him. When he got closer, you could see he was no bigger than a pint of milk. He was a luminous-eyed little Mexican boy with a face as young as yesterday. The priest seemed to know him.
Paquito?
In the back of the wagon was the missing statue of the child Jesus. He picked it up gently and walked up to the priest.
Padre Rojas?
He just stood there, looking up at Father Rojas.
It's Paco Mendoza, a boy from the parish.
Ask him where he found it.
¿Dónde lo encontraste?
No lo encontré, lo cogí esta mañana.
He didn't find it, he took it.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Todos los años Paquito rezó por un camioncito rojo. Este año Paquito rezó al niño Jesús. Yo prometí al niño Jesús el primer viaje en mi camioncito.
He says all through the years he's prayed for a red wagon. This year he prayed to the child Jesus. He promised that if he got the wagon, the child Jesus would have the first ride in it.
¿Vendrá el diablo para llevar a Paquito?
He wants to know if the devil will come and take him to hell.
That's your department, Father.
No el diablo. Jesús ama a Paquito mucho.
We crossed over to the sanctuary. With the help of Father Rojas, the young boy replaced the infant Jesus in its rightful place, the crib in the nativity scene. Frank and I could have been wrong, but the small plaster statue seemed to approve. Mary, Joseph, the wise men, Gaspar, Melchior, Balthazar, the old shepherd, the young shepherd, the peasant, they all seemed to approve.
Vuelve a tu casa, Paquito.
The priest told the boy to go home. He took hold of his wagon, started the long walk out of the church. There wasn't much we could say. There wasn't much to say. We just stood there and watched him go. Halfway up, he turned to look back, and he went on out.
I don't understand how he got that wagon today. Don't kids wait for Santa Claus anymore?
It isn't from Santa Claus. The firemen fix old toys and give them to new children. Paquito's family, they're poor.
Are they, Father?
The story you have just heard is true. The names and locations were changed. Ladies and gentlemen, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. And of course, all of us on Dragnet. We'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas.